Here we are, my friends. Thank you so much for showing up. This is Shadowrun, second part of Nexus Black Opera, little Shadowrun hack of Year Zero engine I put together and that I invited some pretty awesome people to come and play with me because I love awesome people and it's always fun to have them around. Look at these faces. Dave's looking particularly hot tonight, I find. Hello, peoples. How's everybody doing?
Hey, hey.
Hey,
Hanging in
doing
there.
good.
Way to do it.
Doing it. All right. I like to hear that. I like to hear that. I'm going to call upon you in one moment to introduce yourselves, and I will start with Mandy. So just so you get ready, Mandy. We are playing Shadowrun, as I said, tonight. Fortunately, Dave will not be with us tonight due to some scheduling issues, but we will soldier on. We will pick up from where we were last week and sort of see exactly what's going on with this whole weird heist situation that we got going on. Let me introduce these amazing people who are here. The first person I would like to introduce is the one, the only, the Mandy.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mandy, or the Mandy, as you know me all over the internet. I'm a professional dungeon master. I do the things and the stuff and teach RPGs. And yeah, that's me. I'm playing Candy, the Technomancer. Now she's upgraded from Deckerland. And she is a very sassy elf with an upbeat attitude. That's me.
If you ever play another Shadowrun session with me, you'll probably be an AI by that point.
Yes! Sign me up.
Whoa. Thank you so much, Mandy, for being here. Appreciate you coming here, and I love that you have like the right color scheme and everything for this game. It is absolutely perfect. Next up, the man, the myth, the legend. They call him the Michigan Maestro.
Is that me?
Kevin.
Is that Kevin? Hey. What's going on? It's Kevin. I'm found on the socials at Kevran Games. Coming back tonight. Glad to be back here on SAG. And I am playing Merlin, who is a former doctor who's been on the outs, and now he's rocking and rolling with these other runners. So let's do it, man. Let's rock and roll. Let's party hardy. All that fun stuff.
Awesome. Thanks, Kevin, for being back here. Next up, we have the inventor of the San Antonio Drift. Your boy Biggs up in.
Hey, what's going on? I'm putting that on a card somewhere now.
You should.
The inventor of the San Antonio Drift. Hey, everybody, I'm Ian, or your boy Big on all social media. And yeah, I almost read the stream elements. I thought it said the San Antonio Drift inventor. I almost lost it. I play Slade tonight, the elf face, who is not dramatic at all, not flashy or showy, and probably at this moment is more concerned about his friends than his potential payout about what just happened. So we'll see if that's the case.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being back here. And, let me know what kind of sauce goes well with the San Antonio Drift. All the sauces, Bleak. You put all the sauces.
It's Ian's new username online, San Antonio Drift. He's rebranding from your boy Big.
Right. Give me until the break. My Twitter is going to be completely changed at least for the next 24 hours.
You heard it here first, folks. The rebrand is happening.
The rebrand is beginning tonight. Thanks so much for being here. Yes, I am Bleakseason, and my pal Andy, and I probably made the mic pop there. Sorry about it. My pal Andy is producing this game. I'm running it, but I am nothing without my producer. So thanks so much, Andy, for being here doing that. We got a music by the awesome Carl Casey tonight. Please check out Mr. Casey's stuff. You can find all over YouTube, Spotify, everywhere else. We love his brand of synthwave. Tonight I'm using maps by two awesome people, our good friend Solution, as well as cyber maps made by Animated Dungeon Maps. You'll see some of their work all over this thing. Couple other words. What else we got? We are Guild Superior. We play games, a lot of games, and we're going to be playing them for charity in the next few weeks. Check out the links and promos for that in the chat that will be popping up throughout the game. We got tons of game masters, tons of players, couple of weeks. We're doing this with Phoenixy Wacky, our good buddy. So we're going to cross streams. It's going to be awesome. Raising money for Games for Love, which buys games for sick children. So I don't know about you, but that's pretty awesome. So check that out.
But you've never crossed the streams. Why?
Once in a while, you just gotta, man.
You have to.
You just gotta. You're driving down one stream, you gotta pull a San Antonio drift and just right into the other one.
He got you there.
Boom. Set him right up.
You can't get just one rib. What else? Karma, my friends. Let's do karma. If the audience, if you're interested in getting involved in a game, you can provide our players with some good karma to spend. 100 bits buys the player of your choice of karma, which allows them to reroll their failures, which is always good. But speaking of karma, my friends, you also get permanent karma for your awesome actions from last week. So please take this into account. You get 1 good karma for getting the gig and meeting Orphe. You get 1 for handling the gangers and the dock. I'm giving you an extra 1 for that because you came up with a really cool plan, executed it well, and were able to do the whole thing with a minimum of violence, although I don't think that Lorenzo dropping in on a ganger will ever be, minimum of violence, but it was pretty good. Another 1 for bringing Ophelia in alive, and finally 1 for awesome RP all around. So you get 5 good karma. Sorry, 5 permanent karma. So put that in your permanent karma.
Wow.
Yep.
So that brings us up to 6. Is that what I'm reading?
No, that brings you up to 5. You have 1 good karma. Good karma is what you spend to reroll. Permanent karma.
Well, my sheet says 1 permanent too, so that's why I thought maybe it was up to 6. But...
So,
no,
I'll make it 5.
I think
yeah,
go ahead.
Just a question about karma and how it works.
Yeah.
So if we're increasing our permanent, does it increase the other ones as well, or are we only increasing permanent as in like the maximum you can hold?
Yeah, so the permanent is just there to calculate 2 things. 1, the permanent calculates your karmic nudge, which allows you to upgrade your stuff.
Okay.
And then, so every 10 karma, you get a karmic nudge, and every 10 karma, you get 1 good karma.
Okay.
All right. So you need to keep that middle one so that you can always know exactly, how much you've accumulated, which is why it's permanent.
Okay.
But then, so for every 10 permanent karma, you start the game with an additional good karma. So like right now, you're always starting with 1 good karma.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Once you reach 10 permanent karma, you get an additional 1. So you'll always start the game with 2 good karma.
Gotcha.
Okay. This replaces a system called threat. In the Shadowrun ring, there's a system called threat rating, which the more powerful and well-known your character is, you would get a pool of extra dice that you would roll with stuff, which was your threat dice.
Okay.
But since I don't have that anymore, I'm making the karma grow.
Awesome. Thank you.
You don't have to thank me.
Well, thank you, everybody else.
Thank you for
helping us all
explaining it to
earn this
me.
together.
Yeah, truly.
Thank you, group. Thank you, team.
Thank you, team. All right, a little review of last week. Last week, the 3 of you, so Lorenzo, Merlin, and Slade, a couple of years ago, you were on a run that went awry. You got betrayed by one of your friends, Corben Veil, and a lot of you ended up losing some friends. A couple more of your team got killed in that run, and you ended up being blackballed. You had to leave your friends, your families, and kind of go into hiding for a while. It's been a few years of that. You've kind of started resurfacing a little bit, but no one would hire you, and you still have a price on your head. Orcus Transnational still has a price on your head. You recently were contacted by Candy, who is a superlative decker, who reached out to you and said that someone was interested in meeting you, hiring you. You went to a meeting in the virtual space where you met Orphe, who said that he had a kind of a trial gig to give you. You needed to go to a street dog clinic and find a woman named Ophelia, who was about to receive surgery that was going to kill her. But Orphe could do that surgery without killing her, so he wanted you to bring her back alive, which you did. You went there, you absolutely rolled over the gangers that were providing security for the place with your good RP and your good planning. You got Ophelia, and you brought her back. Now, the idea is that there's a second part to this plan, that will be revealed tonight, and it has been hinted that perhaps if you pull this off, you may be able to find out where Corben Veil is, where he's been hiding. So you want that. But before we go where we're supposed to be, let's look ahead a little bit into the possible near future. The old research station Polaris sits on the shores of Hudson Bay, stuck in winter's icy grip. The once promising facility, which once promised to find a way to rejuvenate the dying whale population, now stands as a stark and haunting relic of scientific ambition gone awry. Polaris, encased in sheets of frost-covered steel and concrete, appears as a skeletal structure against the unforgiving landscape. Its facade is a mosaic of shattered windows and broken security fencing, betrayed by nature's relentless assault and the relentless march of time. The surrounding area is frozen wasteland, its silence broken only by the howling wind, a mournful echo of the station's forsaken past. Snowdrifts, tinted with the eerie glow of neon pollutants in the atmosphere, blanket the decayed building and rusting machinery, adding an ethereal, spectral quality to the scene. As the helicopter lifts off, the snow and wind whip at you, and you hustle with your gear, trying to get a bit of the shelter and the carcass of the old research station. The interior, once a hub of scientific inquiry and innovation, now lies in desolation. Abandoned equipment and forgotten data terminals are encrusted with layers of frost and decay. The remnants of scientific experiments, like ghostly apparitions, linger in the frigid air, their purpose lost to time. In this desolate state, Polaris stands as a forlorn relic, a poignant reminder of the fleeting nature of human endeavors in a world dominated by the cold embrace of technology and the unforgiving hand of nature. The whales are now extinct, and you're going to have to hustle to establish your route before you follow them into an early oblivion. How did we get there? Well, let's find out. A little earlier, about 12 hours earlier. You got far to go in 12 hours. You brought Ophelia to a Hema-Quebec automated medical clinic on the South Shore in the 1030 commercial mega block. As I was explaining last game, on the southern shore of Montreal, there used to be this vast shopping, residential, entertainment district. In time, instead of growing outwards, it grew up, and it's now this giant mega block that houses all sorts of entertainment and residential quarters and this, that, the other. On the outskirts of it are still other services, such as this automated medical clinic. So the way the automated medical clinic is, you go to the clinic, you pop in your money at the door, you go in, you sit in one of the booths, they scan you, they tell you what's wrong with you and whether or not they can fix it, how much it's going to cost, you pay it, it gets done. Most of the time, you don't have to interact with anyone, you don't have to see anybody, prescribes pills, everything. It's like like a one-stop shop for first aid. You came in, put Ophelia in one of the auto docks. Lorenzo also went in one. He was kind of banged up a little bit in the fight with the street dog the other day in the gangers. So he's having a bit of a snooze in one while he's getting fixed up. You've been hanging out, waiting a little bit for Orphe to do his job. You can check out the map if you want on Owlbear.
Ooh.
One of the things that's kind of interesting is that Orphe is there, but he's not there physically. There are throughout the medic clinic hologram projectors for people who like to imagine they're talking to someone. So these hologram projectors will project the image of, thanks so much for the follow. These hologram will project a doctor, and you can sort of decide male, female, either, none, both, color, culture, language, all of that. so that, you know, people kind of feel like they're getting a bit of a human touch, so to speak. In this case, Orphe is using it to project himself as he's working remotely, controlling the medical bay as it's operating on Ophelia. There's a couple of projections of him. There's 3, in fact, or 2 in the room with Ophelia, and there's 1 in the office with you, who appears to be ready to maybe answer some questions or you know, tell you a bit more about what's going on. Do you have any questions? Would you like to say or do anything at this particular juncture? I'll say it's maybe you've been here for about an hour now. He's got some security guards, some hired security goons that he's got kind of placed throughout the thing. He's completely rented out the entire place. It's empty other than a lot of you. There were refreshments, there was coffee and other types of drinks and food and anything you could have wanted. So you've kind of been kicking back, relaxing, getting down the jitters from the encounter with the street doc and the gangers. And he comes in and says, my friends, so floor is yours.
My question was, is Candy physically at this place? Is this where I've been working from physically?
Your choice.
I mean, there's guards here. It's super secret. I would say, yeah, I'm probably here in the real.
Okay. So for the first time, my friends, you've also encountered Candy. In the real, she says, in the meat space.
In the meat space.
Well, it's
You
nice
know,
to meet you
also
face
Oscar,
to
you're-
face. I'll put a hand out to shake her hand.
She just kind of looks at your hand, but she'll shake your hand. And what you see is shorter than her avatar, much shorter hair as well, still pink, space buns, and her outfit is not kawaii magical girl at all. It's like very edgy, stylish, like black leather with like neon piping on the edges. Like very high. What is it? Is it called high tech? Is that what it's called? Tech jacket?
It was a techno grunge, kind of like something like that. I think it is.
It's pretty much just like my Hero Forge art. It's
awesome.
her outfit, her outfit. What she looks like in the meat space is exactly her Hero Forge character.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I want to say hi to DM Justin, who just dropped in amidst all his boxes. Thanks so much, DM Justin, for dropping in and checking us out. I got the opportunity to play in a Call of Cthulhu game recently with DM Justin, and it's pretty much everything he's cracked up to be. It was a great time, a lot of fun, a fantastic GM, and just a great person all around. So thanks for joining us. Appreciate you, Justin. Thank you very much. And hey, OK's GM, sup, Miko. All right. I like to think that Candy, as soon as she shakes your hand, turns over to Oscar, and Oscar, a little nozzle comes out and sprays a little bit of disinfectant.
Yes, I want that to be a thing. She'll
Well,
wait
it's
till
nice.
after she shaked both their hands. Come on.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to waste.
It is nice to see you in the meat space. I'm more familiar with dealing with people on a more one-on-one basis, so I appreciate meeting you here. Truth be told, and Merlin just kind of gives a disapproving look around the place. I hate these places, to be honest. They've ended a certain doctor-patient bedside manner that I believe is important to maintaining human relations, but I'm only one person.
Do you still practice, Doctor? Says Orphe. You know, he probably knows whether you practice or not,
Sure.
but he's just kind of trying to make conversation, I guess.
Oh no, that is a tale of another life, it would seem. There was a time, even before I was burned as a runner, that I was burned elsewhere. And some of that came with my professional status as well. But this thing cannot be avoided. I'm probably where I am supposed to be.
Do you miss it?
I suppose you could ask, does a fish miss swimming, or does a person miss breathing?
Hmm.
It was who I was. made me who I was meant to be, and this is merely another path on the step. Another step on the path. Kevin messed that up, not my. Sorry.
So you believe in change then? Change as in evolution, or simply change? Change that can be sideways or backwards?
Oh no, I'm a traditionalist. I hate change, to be honest, but it is sometimes something that is forced upon us, and we can not necessarily decide if change happens, but we can decide how we change with it.
Would you say then that the changes that came about because of the betrayal of Corben Veil were changes that you decided, or would you say that you were an unfortunate, well, I don't want to say pawn, but
The changes that came about because of Corben's betrayal of my trust are, in hindsight, welcome. They brought me to where I am truly meant to be, which is studying the hermetic equations that allow me to change the world around us. Everyone else may worry about what is happening within the running space, but I am able to make actual change, more so than I could with a scalpel.
interesting. What's your stance on the question of change, Mr. Slade?
I think this conversation of change is very interesting. Allow me to change the subject to something more important. What hasn't changed was the credits in my account.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's simply an oversight. I'm certain Candy can command some automated subroutine to handle that.
Already on it. You see her boop, boop, boop in the air, but you don't see anything. There's no holograms.
Thank you, Candy.
Yes, thank you, Andy. Sorry, it's been long and awkward already. Change, it's inevitable. It's something that it's going to happen whether we want it to or not. The only thing that we can do is to make sure that we are on the quote unquote right side of change, or at least the right side for yourself. I respect the doctor's thought process and his approach to his aspect of change. I don't disagree with it, but it's not the direction I prefer to go.
Conflicting points of view. I find that interesting. I'm always amazed how people can get along with each other, even when they don't agree on some of the more fundamental questions. Speaking of which, Candy, what's your view on change? I assume that someone who lives and thrives on the ephemeral of the electronic world, you would be someone who would be quite invested in change?
Oh, I love change. The more, the better. Yeah. It makes life more interesting, I think. And change is whatever I want it to be. Possibilities are endless.
I think Slade kind of hears that and diverts his attention to Candy, and I'm sorry for interrupting. And I'm actually pretty curious. What is it that you want it to be?
What is it that I want it to be? I strive to be the greatest Decker that ever lived, ever will live. That's what I want.
And do you pursue this with more action or more influence?
Equal measure, I think. I think that's fair enough to say.
Slade
and she is clearly...
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
I was going to say, she is very clearly... She is talking to you, but her eyes, you can see them moving around. She is doing like 100 things at once right now. But she's having like a conversation with you. She doesn't sound distracted, but you can tell that she's doing other things.
Noticing that, but then also respecting the hustle, Slade diverts his attention right back to Merlin, and he goes, "That's where we differ. You, action. although I don't disagree with it, I do think that points over to Candy, power and influence is important. Where I disconnect with our friend here is that a personal approach holds more merit. And then he looks forward and he goes, and that's where I feel I differ. I feel like I can do more, hold more, process more, be more if I look the change in the eye, as opposed to behind the screen or behind a scalpel. It's warm in here. I need something to drink.
Can I send one of the goons on a lunch run?
Please.
I would love to eat something that's not donuts today.
You can send Oscar.
I can send Oscar.
Yeah, Oscar will pick
Donuts.
it up.
Yeah,
donuts.
Oscar, go fetch. I want food.
As Oscar takes off, you're mentally calling the place you want food, searching for a place, finding
Yep.
it, bring it.
Yep. Reading the Yelp reviews really quick before I call them.
Right.
It's in Quebec though, so Yelp is called Yelp.
Yelp.
That's
I will say it's very rare. Like in the time that you've spent in person with Candy, she's almost never fully in a conversation. She is always looking at invisible screens that you can't see. It is very rare that she's not doing that.
So,
how do you,
Oh, please.
Candy, how do you, real quick, how do you do that? Like, how do you, why, how, and why?
How and
do you,
are you? And you will see she'll boop, 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 and she looks at you. All of that, I assume.
yeah, I mean, I understand it. I know what you're doing, but just seems so much at once. Why?
So you know how interfaces, even really well-made ones, never work quite as fast as you want them to? There's a delay.
Yeah, I understand.
I can interface at the speed of thought.
It's impressive.
So I'm allowed to, well, not allowed, but I'm able, I should say, to hold a conversation with you and do about 12 other things at the same time. Oh, I ordered extra food for you guys because
Only 12.
I wasn't just going to order for me. Only 12 right this second. I also paused what I was doing, so I'm passively working on about 12 things right now.
When was the last time you've had
She's
a hug?
looking right. She is looking right at you. When was the last time I had a hug?
A hug. Like a really nice squeeze. Like just...
You have to excuse my friend. He's a bit forward.
Forward? That was forward? It's just...
It could be in certain circles, Slade, yes.
I'm not hugging her. You want one? And he kind of looks at you.
I think I'm good. I don't dislike hugs. It's not that I don't ever get hugs, although I have been working a lot recently. Yeah, kind of busy saving the world. You know, doing the things and the stuff.
Speaking of change and of refreshment, how are our friend in our quarry doing, Mr. Orphe?
Pretty good. The he pulls up a holographic display. You see a brain, and you see the outline of tools kind of working into it. I was able to isolate the piece of Bioware that was problematic for Miss Ophelia here, and it should be extracted momentarily, and I'm happy to report that she'll be none the worse for it, and in fact, I will probably feel much better knowing that Orcus can no longer read her thoughts. It does, however, give us a little bit of a problem in that the moment I extract it, Orcus will be made aware. And so, if you don't mind, while we wait for your food, if we might perhaps proceed with the business at hand, since as soon as this extraction is done, this place will become unlivable, as it will be swarming with Orcus Transnational agents.
I suggest the same. The last thing we want to do is try to conduct business with them here, breathing down our necks.
I quite concur. He moves a couple things, and you see Ophelia's image and the image of 4 other women pop up. Ophelia is a very special person. I believe we've discussed the fact that she's what's called a synth, a person grown entirely synthetically in a lab, without sentience normally, or personhood, at least as far as the orbital court is concerned. However, we've seen remarkable advances in the capacity for synths to develop sentience recognition, so on and so forth. Ophelia is the property of Orcus Transnational and is, as I think I've mentioned, what they call a mute daughter. Orcus creates these things since they have no legal rights as a person to basically be walking memory drives. These mute daughters are usually kept in an ultra-secure data farm called the Cathedral in the Detroit-Windsor corporate habitat. Ophelia and 4 of her sisters hold a secret key to a safe that I need cracked. Ophelia was the one I was missing. We can now move on to phase 2, the actual cracking of the safe. The only problem is this. Well, there are several problems, but I guess perhaps the most important one is that the safe is in an underwater bunker built about 700 feet at the bottom of Hudson Bay. And with that, he gestures and a map comes up, a display with a map comes up. You can look on the map on Owlbear to see it. This safe is called Nexus. It was built by a company called Erebus. They are a subsidiary of Orcus Transnational. Now, what Orcus has managed to do through Erebus, bear with me, this will get a little technical, is to create a sort of pocket dimension inside the grid itself, inside cyberspace. The servers of Nexus are in the grid, but are separate from it, in a sort of black hole. It can't be accessed by normal hacking means, otherwise I would simply have Candy here. Hack it. This Nexus system is the blackest of systems, loaded with so much brain-frying ice that even if it was accessible, it would basically be unhackable. Now, you would know the common parlance, a black system is a system that is loaded with lethal ice. Ice is IC, intrusion countermeasure. So computer systems have defense protocols, defense systems called intrusion countermeasure. The systems are rated by a color scheme, yellow, orange, red. Yellow, orange, and red. Green is something with no ice. Yellow, orange, and red are better defended, but the most the ice can do is kind of dump a decker out of the grid. Black ice can kill a decker. If you go up against black ice, it can fry you. Yes. Candy and I ran several simulations. Even when we simulated an assault with a team made up of Dodger, Fastjack, and the Echo Mirage team, it had a failure rate of over 97%. The only way to hack this Nexus Black site is physically. But even then, having physical access to the servers doesn't actually get you to the pocket dimension. You need a password so advanced that it can't be reproduced. This password is ever-evolving and is made up of brainwave patterns. 5 distinct sets, to be exact, that need to be overlaid in the correct order. That's Ophelia and her sisters. Ophelia, Persephone, Electra, Rhea, and Artemis. When he mentions these, you recognize Orcus, because the head of Orcus is of Greek nationality and he's big on Greek mythology. The layering order is opera. Ophelia, Persephone, Electra, Rhea, and Artemis. I can't read minds, but I know what you're thinking right now. Isn't this too complicated to be viable and actionable? And it is. Which begs the question, if they bothered with it, what are they hiding behind it? What would be worth this level of effort and sophistication? Essentially building a safe that can't be opened, but knowing that you need a panic button to actually open it if things get dire enough. This is where you gentlemen come in. You see, Candy is the only one who can crack the safe with the key. But she needs physical access to the servers. She needs an escort. I know this doesn't sound like the kind of job offer of the century, but it does come with a substantial reward. Tell me, gentlemen, what would you be willing to do to get your hands on this man? And as he says that, an image of Corben Veil comes on the projection. We know where he is, what name he's using, and what's more, we know exactly who he was and why he betrayed you. Candy will place this information in a secure orbital data haven, which only the members of your group will have access to. If any of you survive this mission, this information will be delivered to you automatically, along with a payment of 5 million new yen for you to split as you see fit. I'm not going to lie to you, gentlemen. This is an extremely difficult mission because not only is the safe difficult to access, we don't know what it's being protected with, but we know that what's inside is valuable enough to merit this level of protection. The deep resonance only knows what you're going to find inside. What do you say?
I think Lorenzo's going to be upset that we're going to get a head start, but I don't see any other choice but to proceed. I personally would go to the far ends of the underworld and back if it meant destroying Corben Veil. But I'm one person. What do you think, Slade? Do you care about getting those boots muddy enough to make sure we get some vengeance? Old-fashioned, medieval even?
You're more eloquent than I in this moment. I would love to dig the farthest end of my heel down the throat of our old friend here. And that is only but a fraction of what Lorenzo will do.
Yeah.
The money's also very tempting. But that's just me. Okay, so we are going on a suicide mission so that we can kill a guy. Sounds like a lot of fun.
There's not many choices left to people like us. We've been driven to the edge, and here we stand on the razor.
Oh, we have plenty of choices, Merlin. What are you talking about? And he shoots you like a joking look and a smile. We could always go home.
It's interesting that you
fair.
discuss choice because that is exactly what's in front of you now. Candy and I have isolated 3 viable means of accessing the Nexus. We felt it was best left to you to decide which way you would like to proceed. Thanks to Candy's hacking abilities, we know that the 3 most viable points of access. And he points to the map that's now on Owlbear. The Nexus is here.
This looks so fucking cool. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty rad.
This is
Yeah.
dope.
The Nexus is
those
here.
maps were sick.
Some 700 odd feet at the bottom of Hudson Bay. You have 3 options. First option for infiltration are tunnels. Over here is the Cornwallis Thermal Research Unit. This place was built to study the ever-changing environment and evaluate how much time the planet could still sustain. The unit is powered by a small underground thermonuclear reactor. When Erebus built the bunker, it was built to be self-sufficient as far as power. However, they needed to power a staging area called Polaris. They built tunnels underground that go from the CTRU all the way to the Nexus. The only problem with those tunnels is that they, of course, transported nuclear energy. They're also possibly is that a question?
Haunted?
Yeah, it was. No, it was, but I didn't want to interrupt. How is that nuclear energy transported?
I misspoke. I just meant that there's radiation leaks that has because I'm getting to that. So when Erebus closed Polaris, one of the first things they did was crater all those tunnels. Some of that damage reverberated all the way to the nuclear reactor, which began leaking. The CTRU was shut down. The nuclear reactor was shut down, but there could still be lingering radiation, at least in the early parts of the tunnels. We also know that those tunnels had worker drones that were abandoned there. No way of knowing if those drones had any sort of defensive protocols. Your second option is through sea vehicle. You could travel down with a stealth submersible. There's no way we can acquire one and get one there in the time that we have. The closest point of acquiring one that Candy found was at the sedimentary mining operation run by Medvedev Cartage over here. They have several of them. You could slip in, grab one, and be on your way down. The good news is that Medvedev is not affiliated with Erebus or Orcus, so you would not be tipping off our hand. The third and final most viable point of access is through the Paternoster here. Hydrocan back in the day built a Paternoster. A Paternoster is a kind of non-stop elevator that goes around like this. Now, it was originally used to mine down at the bottom of the sea, and it has compartments for the transport of maintenance teams. You could access the Paternoster, go down all the way to the bottom, and then with the proper suits, we'll walk across the seafloor to Nexus.
Oh. All of those are fucking terrifying. Mandy said that, not Candy. That's that's not my character talking.
we won't belabor the underwater stuff. The advantage of the tunnels is that it makes it impossible to be detected, but the maintenance and security drones might have survived the cratering, and you may have to deal with radiation. The advantage of the sea vehicle is that it's fast and efficient, but there's a possibility of early detection and Medvedev, and there are also Sentinel drones that patrol the area around Nexus itself. You would have to pull a stealth move and hope that Candy can keep those drones off of you. The sea elevator, or the Paternoster, offers a low chance of detection, but if something goes wrong, you're extremely vulnerable. Candy?
I have a question. In my predictions and examinations of like this map and where things generally are and distances and such, do I know, even as a technomancer, am I going to be able to hack any drones that are down there when we're at the bottom? Because we have to kind of be in Nexus in order for me to hack the thing, because I'm hacking that physically. The advantage to you being a technomancer is that you will be able to do that, because as opposed to a decker, you don't need Wi-Fi or anything like that to access.
you can
Okay.
just
Have
reach
a-
out with your mind and hack the
Okay.
drones.
I wasn't sure
I
if
have
like
a
environment had an
follow-up to
effect
that.
on it.
No,
Yeah.
you'd be perfectly fine, which is the main reason why they need a technomancer for this and not a decker.
So I have a follow-up to that because my thought process was going the same.
Absolutely.
With
I'm
the
here to answer your
question
questions.
too. So we know that Candy as a technomancer can do it. Is there a percentage probability for the rate of success for the drones in the tunnels as opposed to potentially the drones if we take the seafaring thing? Not walking across the floor, but taking one of the submarines.
Pods. Her ability to hack either of those is basically the same. The reason why we chose these 3 points of ingress is because they offer practically the same percentage chance of success.
Okay. Second question I had, the MetaView, the Metaviv
Medvedev, yeah,
Metadev, I'm sorry, place.
that's okay.
You said that they're not affiliated to Orcus or anyone specifically, but they're kind of like subcontractors potentially?
No, Medvedev is a small haulage company, a small cartage company. They do a bit of side mining and stuff like that. They basically their main thing is hauling things into space. But they tend to practice or test a lot of new equipment underwater and things of that nature. So this base is there for that. Test for pressure and things of that nature. They're not even a AA company. They're fairly small.
But just weighing in
Industrial
with
company.
my particular set of skills, I'm more versed with dealing with living people and persons. Is there a way that would allow us to have more of that approach rather than the drones? My equations don't offer much towards their defeat or relegation if necessary.
Mhm. Unfortunately, due to the extreme nature of the environment there, most of the concerns that end up in that environment tend to prefer technical solutions. Certainly, if you go to Medvedev, you will encounter the guards and the employees of Medvedev.
We're still going to encounter drones either way, though, most likely.
But drones should be the
have
least of your worry with Candy. You're as in good
Yeah.
hands as you can possibly be.
Oh, we saw that
It's-
already. She's quite skilled with what she does. Very impressive.
and which honestly it provides a mental safety net for me at least. Kendi, with your research with the people at Metadev, is there a schedule or any information along the lines of their next excavation or their next testing projects, anything along in reference to that? Here's my thought. Let me just put it out there, right? So we go to Metadev. We can convince whoever is in charge that we are part of the next incoming excavation or testing project. Candy can do their magic to make it seem like this is something that's on the docket, right? And poof, we're there, right? They give us a vessel. We take that vessel under the guise that we've been scheduled to be here, and then we make our way over to Nexus. It'll take some convincing from the two of us, Merlin, a little bit of Jess speaking. Worst case scenario, we throw some credits someone's way.
I probably have that schedule right as well. Just to make sure I'm addressing the beginning part of that. Blake? Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
we can hear you, man.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry, I
got
can
really
hear.
quiet.
Just I turned off.
Blake was just
my
enjoying
mic.
the show.
Oh.
I muted myself so that you wouldn't hear me typing, and then I.
Oh,
You were saying you have So you do have basically you can ask me any question you want about Medvedev. You would have that information. So
I do. Okay, so I will have the schedule. I'll provide the schedule to Slade.
Am I thinking too much? Is this too big?
No, so
looking at
what you're
No,
looking at right now really is that the base is at in maintenance mode. They don't have any projects on deck, so it's a skeleton crew.
That would make things easier, but it is the loudest way to get down.
Well, we're going to be
Honestly,
loud anyway with
sometimes-
Lorenzo in tow if he ever does get down there. I personally am more inclined to go the Medvedev way as well. There are certain skills that can require all of us, with Slade's ability to work a room, my ability to perhaps know the jargon that may be necessary for us to know and seem like we're supposed to be there and in fact be on a research team. And Candy, well, your nearly goddess-like status on the techno-mage scale, I believe it would probably be the best approach. If I were to pick one way, just myself, that is what I would choose, but we are a group. But it sounds like we're all leading in the same direction.
Either
Which
way,
one?
Mr. Slade will get to apply some of his social wiles, as you'll be needing to talk with some people to acquire specialized equipment, either which way you decide to go.
Yes, we would need diving gear if we took the third option. The tunnels just
Just
don't
looks
seem
so
viable
weird.
to me, so I definitely want to eliminate that one. Tunnels sound bad. I don't like
Being-
tunnels. Does anybody like tunnels?
Being
It's not just the
hamsters inside
tunnels,
a tunnel
it's-
is not entirely what I believe is a good
Okay.
idea.
Nobody
Been
likes
there
the
and done
tunnels.
that.
Radiation. I'm not for the
Radiation's
radiation.
not great
It's too
either.
much
Yeah,
of a yeah.
I'm too beautiful to die. If I'm gonna die, it should be in a blaze of glory. All
Well,
right, so
it takes Slade a long time to get their hair exactly the way that they wanted, and if it would all fall out, it'd be very sad. I'll be
oh
entirely
my
honest.
god,
You are
Um,
too kind, Merlin, and you know me to a T.
I do.
so that leaves us with two options, both of which you can use your very particular talents on, because either way, we are going to need to talk to people.
Mhm.
Um,
Which way would be the
j-
shortest distance? Which way is the fastest?
Fastest
It
and
was
loudest is Medvedev.
I see.
there it is.
Quietest
GM, did our
and
friend
medium is doing the elevator.
Elevator.
I understand Dave's not with us here today. Did he weigh in on this? Did you speak to him previously about it? No? Okay. So it's just us. Got it.
He'd probably be for kicking the door in. And
Yeah, whatever one we get to beat up the most people.
So
Which one do we get to
Medvedev.
blow shit up in?
Yeah, right.
Medvedev.
Medvedev.
How do you say it? There's a V in
Medvedev.
there.
Yeah, I think we're all. I think
There's
we're all leaning
multiple
towards
Vs.
Medvedev.
Medvedev. Yeah, it says Medvedev. Medvedev.
Medvedev. There it is.
Medvedev.
Medvedev.
They're
It's
from
better than
Russia, not
Italian
from
draft.
Alabama.
Oh my God.
Medvedev. Come on, comrade. We go to
Channeling the
Medvedev.
energy from your
Medvedev.
Radagast game. Radagast.
So Medvedev,
Ravengast.
is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Medvedev.
Yeah.
You know,
All
this
right.
is what the folks tune in for on Guild Superior is this right here. Medvedev. What does it all mean? You know.
What does it mean? Of course, Candy's gonna go along with the plan that's the loudest. It
Thanks.
makes perfect sense, actually.
I think we're all in agreement then. I think we got to go
She's not a-
Medvedev, baby.
she's not a stealth girly, so this is fine.
Nice.
Very well. The pods that you would be using from Medvedev are not controllable from inside the pod. They are completely automated. However, with a secondhand Medvedev space mining probe control unit, you would be able to. Candy could install it and then operate the pod. Now, you might think that getting a secondhand Medvedev space mining probe control unit is difficult. I happen to know someone who has one, and that should be your first stop. I have made an appointment for you with a fixer in the east end of Montreal who has one of these pods. He will not be interested in letting it go easily. Up to you to convince him that we need it. I will authorize certain funds at Candy's discretion to be released to this fixer should you reach some sort of satisfactory negotiations. but we need that control unit. So swindle it out of him, seduce it out of him, kill him and get it, buy it. Chef's choice.
Did you mean to speak to each one of our direct methods that we would typically go to try to work with a fixer, or was that coincidental?
Definitely Lorenzo would seduce the hell out of him.
You read my mind.
I
Does
do
this
have a
fixer have a
question
name?
about that.
Oh,
And
Yes.
No, their name and pain points, please.
pain points.
No, that's a stat. I'm being serious.
Hmm?
Like, what gets them going if we know it?
His name is Elvis, and what gets him going is a little bit of achy breaky heart.
Beautiful.
So then I'll just kind of raise an eyebrow to Slade. It's a good thing you are the lead on this, it would seem.
I
You
am
can-
not the lead.
Well, when it comes to, as he so eloquently put, seducing our way into a fix, then perhaps you are.
You can go ahead and make an etiquette roll if you want to see if you know anything about Elvis.
I would love to.
I would love to do
It'd be your
that.
empathy plus etiquette.
Empathy plus etiquette for me is 2d8. One is an 8, the other is a 3.
That's one success.
Yeah.
I have an 8 also.
All right, so both of you have heard of Elvis. He's an orc. He works out of a trailer park in the East End. The East End is a industrial nightmare. It's full of refineries and other such industrial concerns out there. A lot of orcs and dwarves live there since they tend to be the people that often find themselves working on these kinds of industries. You know that he specializes very specifically in military surplus, things of that nature. You know, he's got a good reputation. He's a bit of a likes to have fun a little bit sometimes with his clients. You know, play a little hard to get, but solid reputation. Bit expensive. Certainly the kind of guy you would expect to be handling this kind of thing, like, you know, secondhand space probe control units. That sounds
Nice.
like exactly up his alley.
Sounds like an interesting fellow. Can't wait to meet him. Usually I would call him my fencer, Sloppy Joe, but I believe that they may be a little bit more
Floppy.
beguiling and trying to get this. So yes, I'm interested in always meeting a new friend. Are you up for the challenge, Slade?
How much time do we have until we meet this fixer?
Approximately 1 hour.
It's not enough time at all. Okay, trust me. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Is there any way that I can spruce myself up?
Yes, you can use all the facilities here. If you want, I can have Candy book you a room at the Times Hotel, which is just next door, and you could go there for a few moments rest and refreshment.
Absolutely.
Actual-
Please point the direction. And he just takes off. He's like, trust me, trust the process. As he walks off.
I already booked it. I knew this was going to happen.
Candy, you have access to discretionary fund. I suggest that if there's anything else you would like, as far as equipment goes, Mr. Elvis can probably provide. So feel free to tack on any other necessities. We
Okay.
will also make sure that you get suitable gear for the cold weather out there. Another little.
You want me to dress weather appropriate? How dare you?
I'm certain Mr. Elvis can find something suitably sequined and pink for you to wear.
I don't want it to be pink.
My friends, I will leave you to sort this out. Candy has all the details. Candy, you may go with them physically if you want, or stay here and send Oscar if you wish, however you wish to handle it.
I should get some exercise. I'll go with them.
I will go see to Ophelia and make sure that we have everything in order and that we can vacate this premises as soon as we are done with the operation.
I'll give you
You
whatever
got it,
aid
bud.
I'll give you whatever aid I can in that meantime as well.
I will perhaps keep Mr. Lorenzo with me to help with the heavy lifting of moving everything we need to get out of here, if that's okay with you. I'm sure the three of you are more than equal to the task of a shopping trip.
It's probably for the best, because as Slade implicated, if we send both Slade and Lorenzo in on a mission such as this, the pure sexual tension from the person we're going after will be simply too much to handle. So it is good that we're just taking one of them.
You are very strange
just-
people. I
Yeah.
appreciate watching you work. It's
I'm so glad I don't have to do the seducing this time.
Well, the day is young. You might get lucky. Who knows?
And so,
Nah, no thanks. I'd rather be hacking.
you will pack
Fair.
up all your stuff. You still have access to the GMC Bulldog step van that you had last time. Slade, what happens? Dare I ask what happens when you go to the hotel room?
Oh yes. So in the most respectful, but I'm in a very rushed way, like walks in and he goes, "Please point me to my room, please." And then as they show him to where he is, like he just completely, in the most fast way that he can, but it really isn't fast, complete scrub down. I mean, this is probably the first time he's had something like that's luxury-esque in the way of like cleanliness, and he's getting himself ready, getting the smell goods going, whatever have you. Orders up or has somebody gets a new set of clothes. We're putting on a scene, and that's what he's getting himself ready for. It's almost when you see Slade come back out, it's kind of like you've done this in 45 minutes, or you've done this in this short amount of time. This is ridiculous. And he walks out and he goes,
With that fast change
"Yeah."
skill.
He's like, "Okay, I'm ready. Let's go."
Anything else you want to do before you head out there, or are you good to go? What's your situation?
I would just look over Lorenzo. Being a doctor, being a former surgeon, I would just make sure if there's anything I could have done to ease the transition. I would look at that. Also, I'll just take a look in on Ophelia just to see, to make sure we did everything we could have done to make sure she got back safe. I mean, it sounds like we did, but it's just
Yeah, the
I'm a
vital
thorough,
signs,
logical
everything
person, so.
look really good.
Uh-huh.
They basically have, using nano tools, gone in her skull and retrieved a incredibly thin little layer of what looks like clear plastic with weird sort of gold lines etched into it, and they're busy sort of pulling it off her brain and sort of pulling it out of the thing. And it's a delicate operation because it's so thin that it would rip, so they have like this really kind of complex way of doing it, but looks like it's happening. The vital signs look good. Lorenzo looks like he's sleeping. He's snoring pretty loudly. The stitching, not quite to the level you would have done it,
Sure.
but
Okay. I have while I'm watching over this, I have, especially when I'm seeing that thing be removed from Ophelia's brain, I have a little bit of a flashback to that night that we got burned by our companion, Mr. Veil. I remember, trying to run, trying to get the others out of there. And I remember specifically when I got caught between something and lost my leg from just above the knee down on the left. And that pain and that anger, and how that's nothing compared to how badly the betrayal was from Corben, because I personally trusted him and brought the other two to him in a way of, we trust this guy, and he burned us all. So I carry a lot of that with me, and part of my missing leg itches somewhere in the back of my mind. And
your leg itches in the back of your mind.
That's it. I'll just limp out to go
Phantom pain.
Meet up with Slade and Candy.
As you're meeting up, getting in the van, and going, Oscar flies in and lands on top of the van, and you hear in your head, Candy, I've been thinking about this entire mission, shall we call it, that you are currently embarked upon, and I was wondering if I might share with you some of my thoughts.
Is this Oscar talking to me?
Yeah.
Okay. I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts. My wonderful, amazing son. What do you think? Were you running some more calculations?
Not calculations per se, which was strange. It was more like I was calculating, but not calculating. I was pondering,
Thinking?
I guess you would say. Yes.
You were thinking.
Yes, I guess I was.
Huh. Wow, you've grown up so much in the last year.
Hmm. Don't fret, Mother. I won't leave your side.
Aw, thanks, buddy.
I've been thinking that sometimes when things are hidden away in such a way that they can't be found, it usually because there's a good reason for that, and I'm simply wondering if whatever it is that we would find in this Nexus Black opera safe. Well, something we actually would want to find.
Yeah, I've definitely thought about that. Especially after what happened to us earlier.
Hmm.
Do you remember all that?
I do. It's a little traumatic sometimes. I try not to think about it too much, but I have to say that this one has a different texture to it. I feel like what we saw in Seattle in the Universal Brotherhood was something from a world that I don't understand and cannot understand and will never understand, but this feels a little closer to home somehow.
More artificial. I want to go back to that place we saw yesterday.
The street dog clinic?
No. When I went into or tried to go into Ophelia's brain. Do you not remember?
No, I didn't see that.
Huh, I would have thought we both would have experienced it since I did it through you.
No,
Oh.
I felt you leave momentarily, and I just assumed perhaps you had shut down the connection for a moment to have a personal thought.
Oh, I need to talk to... Oh, shit. I have to talk to Dodger. Maybe he knows what it was. I went somewhere else for a little bit. Not on the net, I don't think. Somewhere else.
It's sort of like when you met Dodger for the first time.
Yeah, like that, but further away, more foreign.
I don't know why, but that chills me more than the notion of those insect people that we saw in those tunnels under the Universal Brotherhood.
I don't know. I think traveling far away is a lot less scary than weird creatures from another dimension. Do we I don't want to fight more of those either. They're creepy.
You might ask Merlin about them. He is versed in the arcane world. He
The
may know
bug
something.
people?
Perhaps. I mean,
Oh.
we don't know if we can trust him yet. Perhaps you don't want to reveal that just
Maybe
yet.
not so soon. Maybe not so soon. I don't think all of that has anything to do with this. Not really.
I found that sometimes things are connected to each other in ways that we can't foresee or even see at times, and connections are still there.
True. Maybe.
Interesting.
Damn it, I don't want to talk to Dodger. He's such a pain in the ass to get a hold of. And he's so smug all the time, when I'm clearly better than he is. That's why I'm here and not him.
Well, he used to be good, but time moves on for everyone.
Yeah, he's getting old. He has to move over.
I remember when Fast Jack was the top draw, and then it was Dodger, and, well, perhaps after this run, it'll be you.
It will be me. I'm confident in that.
What do you want me to do once we arrive at the RV park? Would you like me to fly Overwatch? Would you like me to sit here and, how does Mr. Slade say it? Chill?
Yes, you learned a new word. I love it. Okay. No, I don't want you to chill. Yes. Run some Overwatch. Keep an eye out for any surveillance that might get turned on us when we get to where we need to get. I don't want anybody spying on us. I don't want any other drones in the vicinity as well. Any other potentially hostile drones, I should say. If they can't fight like you, then don't do it.
A fixer of Mr. Elvis's stature will certainly have grid protection, so I'll be on the lookout for that.
Okay. Very good, Oscar. We're gonna figure this out, buddy. You and me.
Yes, Mother. Absolutely unaware that all this is going on.
So it's lilac and rose. That's what it is. So I walked in there and they had a full chamomile, like milk tea bath set up. It's really weird. I was thinking it and I know how it happened, but you know, sometimes these things, it still kind of surprises you. I walked in, I thought, this would be nice. I got into the room and it was just set up. It was ridiculous.
Of course, it's very impressive exactly the lengths that Candy and Orphe have gone to make sure that we are completely taken care of the way we need to be.
Absolutely. And listen, and he leans in closer to you, Merlin, goes, I'm not going to say this out loud because that's just not how I am. But she is rather impressive. It reminds me of what I had before all of this. But if you tell Candy that, I will smack you.
I don't know if there would ever be an opportunity for me to have girl talk with Candy, so I think you are safe.
Yeah, it is impressive. Anywho,
as you are driving,
kind of clap him on the shoulder.
As you are driving into the east end of town, on the radio comes a song called Candy Girl by an oldies band called New Edition.
Get out of here, Dodger.
Yes.
Get out of here, Dodger, with the music choices.
Slade's kind of doing one of these.
Nice.
At that point, I surface from my dive and my chat with Oscar, and I'm like, oh boy, okay. I'm back. I'm here.
Where'd you go?
Oh, I was talking to Oscar.
Everything all right?
You doing okay?
Ready for this?
Oh, I was just prepping him for this visit. I'm gonna have him run some recon, be our little eyes in the sky.
Great idea. Excellent.
Great conversationalist, really. Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Slade, you are taking the lead on this. We decided that your methods, I'll just kind of look him up and down, your methods would be the best approach for this, we all think? Or
yes. I'm gonna be honest, it's a little bit nerve-wracking that you all are putting a lot on me, but I'm fine.
Candy, I'm sorry. Just while you're talking, Candy, can you give me a wits and tech roll?
Yeah.
And you can use your talent.
D12, D10.
Juicy info. If you want, you can spend a resolve to get a boon. If you want.
Which one? What do I get for juicy info?
You spend a resolve to get a boon when using tech to gather info.
Spend a resolve. Yeah, I'll spend a resolve because we get a lot of resolve, right? That's the thing that we keep getting a bunch of.
Yeah, you can get it through different ways. So I would have said you would have gotten back all your resolve and all your health. So you have one clicked off there, so it's fine. Just leave it that way. And
okay,
that's the one.
Yeah, I'll spend the resolve to get a boon. So does that mean I re-roll whatever's not a success?
No, it means you roll an extra D10.
An extra D10.
An extra die of the smallest one that you're rolling.
The smallest one, yeah, is D10. Okay, cool. I'm gonna hold those so they don't get hit. Okay. You said my target was a 6, right? It's always a 6.
At least 1 6, yeah.
I only got one above a 6 out of those 3.
That's perfectly fine. That's all I need. So you do a quick check on Elvis. You know that his known associates are a street samurai named Lojack. And you also pick up that one of his known associates is a decker named Credence.
Amateur.
My friends,
What
the
a dumb
industrial
name. Credence. Sorry.
The industrial east end sector of town, which is called Villeray, is a sprawling network of refineries that stands as a stark testament to the collision of advanced technology and unbridled corporate dominance. Towering like mechanical giants, the refineries cast eerie shadows against perpetually smog-laden skies. The relentless churn of industry is manifested in those colossal complexes, a labyrinth of pipes, tanks, and steel spires that reach into the heavens, adorned with flickering neon signs and emblazoned with the logos of Bombardium Electrochem, Medvedev Heavy Industries, and even a few Seder Krupp subsidiaries. The air is heavy with noxious fumes and acrid pollution, and the urban decay is palpable. Cracked pavement and rusted debris create a haphazard path, while decaying buildings line the streets, bearing the scars of years of neglect. Amidst the desolation, neon lights and holographic advertisements pierce the darkness, creating a disorienting visual tapestry of vibrant colors and messages that clamor for your attention. The refineries themselves are impenetrable fortresses encircled by towering walls, surveillance cameras, and armed corporate security forces. The perimeter is fortified with barbed wire and guard towers, emphasizing the absolute control exerted by the corporations over this industrial domain. Amidst the squalor, a marginalized populace struggles to survive in makeshift dwellings, constantly exposed to the industrial and environmental hazards that permeate the sector. Many orcs or dwarves, those who find more regular demand for their skills and strength in the industrial hellscape of the East End. You are heading for a place called Prairie Town, which is a small little trailer park. Now it's called Prairie Town because this part of the city used to be called Rivière des Prairies, which is Rivers of the Prairies. So it's been transformed over time into Prairie Town. As you approach, you can look at the map for a quick look at the RV park. Nestled within the grimy heart of the industrial sector, a small, forgotten trailer park emerges as an unexpected oasis of humanity amidst the relentless machinery and towering steel behemoths. Rows of battered, rusted trailers huddled together like resilient survivors in a world dominated by corporate titans. The trailers bear the scars of time and neglect, their surfaces marred by graffiti and rust, but they stand as a testament to the tenacity of their inhabitants. Tattered awnings and makeshift additions offer a hint of personalization amid the uniformity of the metal structures, each a tiny sanctuary in the dystopian wilderness. Dim, flickering neon signs from the nearby factories cast an otherworldly glow over the park, bathing the trailers in an eerie spectral light. The air is thick with the acrid scent of industrial fumes, a stark contrast to the dimly lit yet surprisingly cozy interior of these mobile homes. The sound of laughter, music, and conversation mingles with the hum of machinery and the distant sirens, forging a unique soundscape that reflects the complex interplay between humanity and industry. My friends, how would you like to approach this RV camp?
After seeing exactly where we are, Slade goes, shit. Okay. He takes off his jacket, and he looks at himself and he's like, okay, cool. Unbuttons a couple buttons, rips off his sleeves, and he frazzles his hair but slicks it back to where it's still kind of nice, just to look a little bit unkempt but not so put together. And he's like, okay, I can do this. It's been a minute, but I can still do this.
Can I maybe tell? I mean, I don't suspect anything that's crazy, but I like to be sure. Is there any way I can tell? Is there any sort of other awakened individuals that maybe have done anything in the area? Any sort of magic that might be around? Anything that might be out of the normal that we might be walking into? I don't know what sort of protections Elvis has, or maybe somebody else is watching him.
I am so sorry. Can you repeat that? I was reading.
That's right. Can I sense if there's any sort of magical auras or effects around? Or
go right ahead, my friend. Give
Cool.
me a we will call it a empathy and actually you would roll your magic. Where's your magic at? Where your magic at?
My magic is a D10. Yeah, I have a spell. I have a spell for sense magic. Basically, what could happen is
Oh, okay.
I
So you can do that.
I
Because I was gonna say you can roll your magic and your sorcery, but if you have a spell, you can cast a spell.
Well, what I can do is I can determine if there is something there. Then the sense magic spell lets me, when I cast it, find out exactly what sort of effect is going on. Basically, like figure out what spell it is. It's like spellcraft, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
For those
go for it.
familiar with that reference. So, how would you want me to just do the spell, or you want me to see if there's some there first?
Up to you.
Okay, I'll roll the magic sorcery because you know what? I like rolling dice. So
Okay.
we're gonna roll magic sorcery, which is a D10 and a D8.
Let's see if you have anything that would help you. So something you can do, Kevin.
I could use my one talent that I haven't used yet. Is that what you're getting at?
Well, I'm getting at Astral Voyager.
Mm-hmm.
Astral Voyager literally allows you to leave your body and go fly around. You can go anywhere. You fly at the speed of thought. You can go anywhere. The only thing you can't do is go through organic or living matter. But you can go through walls. You can go basically through anywhere. Now, you don't see the world as clearly as we do. Anything that's not living is mostly shades of gray and kind of blobbish. Anything that is living or has an aura, and the more powerful that aura, and the more powerful, especially if they're magically active, is a brighter and brighter color. So think of, like the way the Predator in the movies, when they switch to that kind of heat sensing thing. So like everything is kind of this blued out thing. So for you, it would be like this kind of grayed out thing. Now, the only thing is this. There's a thing called background count. Background count is whenever there's a place that has either very strong emotions or a lot of pollution or a lot of, negative things happening in it, it creates kind of like static. A place like this that is this industrialized will have a certain amount of background count. What this does is that it makes you doing tests in Astral a little harder, and it makes it harder to see things, but it doesn't prevent you from going in Astral and doing that.
I see.
So if there was a magical thing present and it's not masked, you would be able to see it, etc., etc. So it's a very, very powerful tool that you have, and you definitely should not sleep on it.
Perfect. I think what I'll do then is I was actually going to plan to do that while Slade was working his mojo, but I'll do it now. That's fine, because it does say
two ways
that
of doing it, right? So you can either leave your body, which means your body flops to the ground.
I was just going to say, yeah, it does say
or you sit down, or you can just shift your perception so that you see in that world without leaving your body. And you can still do things with your body. You're just kind of distracted. A little bit kind of like Candy, when Candy is trying to hack something difficult at the same time as, painting her nails or something.
Absolutely. I think I'll go with the second option just because I don't think we're in danger, but you never know. We are walking into a unique situation here. So I'll do the second kind. Do I need to spend resolve or anything like that? Or
Nope,
I can just
you don't need to do anything.
Okay.
You just tell me you want to do it, and
yeah, so as we walk forward, unlike my other things that I've been doing, my spells where I've been making these equations, these sigils in the air, this I can just do. Slade probably has seen me do this at least once before. I just kind of, just for a second, hesitate in my step. Like it's almost like I lose or skip a step and then walk a little slower, still kind of behind him. And he would say there's a kind of a remotely vague look in my eyes. I'm not completely oblivious, but I'm not like as focused as I could be. And that gray will just kind of like seep in from the sides and take over everything in its weird miasmic view as I start looking around.
So
Slade will gently grab like his arm, kind of do it like how you would with like an older parent or something, and just kind of tuck it under there, patting his hand so he knows he's still aware.
As you look at Slade, can you tell us a little bit? Your character, what cyberware does he have? You don't have to tell us what it is, but tell us where it's at on your body.
It's in his eye.
So Slade has a lot of, so you would see when you look at Slade, you would see he's a living being, and he's a fairly powerful person. So he would have a fairly powerful aura, but obviously non-magical. But those places in his head where he's got cyberware, it's black. Like it's like completely lifeless, completely gone, and you can almost feel that part of his soul, part of his being is gone.
An absence of the force.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Oh,
do me next.
Yeah. So when you look at,
I'll look to them. Yeah.
Complete black, just a shade.
Do you have any Cyberware left, Mandy?
I don't think I do. I don't think I have any cyberware anymore.
No, but you used to. So you see, when you look at Mandy, you see bits and pieces throughout her head that are kind of gray, slowly turning back, as if pieces had been missing for a while, but now they're kind of coming back. But you see something else when you look at another mage. So mages, powerful mages, have the ability to mask their aura so they don't look like mages, but most mages can't do that. When you look at a mage that's non-masking his aura, you do see an additional aura around the person that is usually a vibrant color, and then depending on how powerful a mage are and what their connection is to magic, it's bigger and whatnot. And, you know, if you saw like a really top-notch mage, you know, you would have like this glowing beacon, basically. When you look at Candy, you see something similar, but instead of being an aura, it's kind of like a connection. So there is like a strand or a thread that leaves from the core of her being and that tails off into and disappears into nothingness. And it's this incredibly strange thing because it's kind of like a swirl of black, but at the same time, powerful, bright color. And it's just kind of like this thread that is woven of two threads, one of pure blackness, so one of pure technology, and then another one that is woven of bright, almost magic-like thing, magic-like power. And it kind of spirals off, and then it kind of trails off, and it just sort of follows her around, kind of like floating behind her. You can sense a strand of it that goes to her drone. And it's very strange. I don't know that you've seen many technomancers. They're a fairly recent phenomena. But it would definitely, either way, be kind of strange to you. Like, usually it's one or the other, and there seems to be a bit of both going on here.
Then I think because Slade is helping me with the arm hold, I think only he will hear me say. It's like, despite myself, I don't realize.
Yeah, I'm trailing behind, so
Okay.
or ahead even.
I'll just say, a conduit.
I'll ask you later. That's fine.
Yeah, is there anything I can sense with maybe an empathy insight roll to see if there's any other auras that are around us besides?
You don't need to make a roll.
Okay.
First of all, there is a background count.
Okay,
I would say like on a scale of 1 to 10, it would be like a 3 maybe. So it's like a mix of heavy industrialization, metahuman misery, not unlike what you would expect. As you kind of walk into the trailer park, you'll detect one of the trailer homes has a bit of a magical aura in it. You're thinking it might be someone who is has the capacity for magic but has not awoken it yet, or someone who just hasn't really kind of worked it. You're not too distraught about it. You get a sense as you automatically kind of instinctively reach out to the elemental world that the elementals here are angry. They don't like what's being done to this place. They don't like the presence of the industrialization. They've learned to live with it, but you can feel an anger coming from the elemental world here. You know that any elementals you would summon here would be really pissed off.
Right.
But other than that, you don't detect any other presence in Astral. You don't get a sense of anyone watching you or other threats in the area. Nothing anyways that like kind of tells you, oh yeah, we're in the shit, you know.
Sure. Then what I'll do is I'll stay in this form, this view, until we see Elvis and interact with them for a few moments before I kind of come back.
And so that you know, if you're astrally perceiving, you get a bane on all tests that you do because you're split in between the two. Okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
As you approach, Candy, you'll hear in your head from Oscar.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we've got company, nothing to be worried about, but there's someone hovering around. They're not technomancer, they're in the system, looking at us through, they got quite a security grid here, through security cameras. Do you want me to take them out? Do you want to reach out to them? What do you want to do?
Let's reach out and see where the unwelcome eyes are coming from.
Okay.
Nice
Give me
and
a
quiet,
wits plus tech.
Wits plus tech, D10 and D12. Do. Fuck.
You can push tech and precision rolls.
Not a number I'm familiar with.
Can I use tech head to get another D10?
Get a boon? Well, you could do even better because you can spend the resolve to push your roll, which means you get to reroll both dice, whereas with tech head, you get one dice.
I'll push myself.
So spend a resolve and push.
Cool.
Push it really good.
Push it real good. One success.
All right. So again, I didn't say this, but you could have spent the resolve, and then you could have spent a second one to use tech head also and gotten a third dice, but it doesn't matter. You got a success.
Okay. I'll remember that for next time.
Yep. You reach out. It's kind of like when your new phone is trying to detect the router, like you just kind of reach out, get a lay of the land of all the different access ports that are around. You find one of the cameras, you pop into it, and as you do, you arrive in a virtual kind of little block. You're in the security block of the camera, and you hear a fairly young sounding feminine voice that says, "Holy Trek, are you Candy?"
Yeah.
All right, the fuck on.
What's up? Who is this? Who am I talking to?
Yeah, you won't know me. My name's Credence. You won't have heard about me. That's fine. That's okay, because I've heard of you. I have this little 3D holographic projection of you on my table on my desk.
The one we released last spring? Oh, yeah, how sweet. Those were limited edition.
I know. I had to, it wasn't easy to get one, but I got it. I also got like copies of all those underground mixtapes that you made. Those were so good. Your music really, it really reaches deep inside of me, and it touches a part of me that, it feels kind of like a warm hug, and like I'm talking to someone who really understands me and gets me, and it's you're really something. You're really something. I can't believe you're here in my house right now. I'd invite you to sit down, but there aren't even any chairs because it's virtual. But stop being stupid, Credence. I'm sorry. I'm just freaking out.
Totally fine. So you were just looking to see who was walking by, that's all?
Yeah, no, that's my job. Like, we're expecting some. Are you one of the Shadowrunners we're expecting?
Yep.
Oh, shitballs. No one told me Candy was coming. Like, we were told like a bunch of half-ass, raggedy-ass runners were coming. Not that. Oh, my God. Oh, I'm sorry. Look, I'm in no disrespect. It's just my job. I just got to keep an eye out. A lot of people come and go in here. Elvis, he's really paranoid about a lot of stuff, and he's always got people coming in for deals and stuff. And, we don't always know these people, and some of them are quite characters, you know what I'm saying? And I was just kind of keeping an eye out, making sure that you weren't the fuzz or anything like that,
Oh, definitely not. Definitely not the fuzz. Good looking out. Very smart. Very great. Love to see an up-and-coming Decker. Power to you, honestly.
Thanks. Yeah, I really look up to you and all the things you've done. Like it's very empowering to see you out there doing this, and you're kind of my hero. God, I'm being stupid again. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be professional here.
Hey, it's all right. It happens. Looking forward to meeting you. And if you wouldn't mind putting a good word in with your boss. I mean, I'm with someone in the group here is much better talker than me. Definitely would like to have a conversation with him. But if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I'll ping him. I'll tell him you're coming. And just whatever you do, don't sing Elvis songs and don't disparage Elvis in front of Elvis, because that's going to be a deal breaker right there.
Ooh, good to know. I will let my compatriots know who keep their mouths shut.
Yeah, he
I
doesn't like
appreciate
anybody
that.
but Elvis singing Elvis.
Ah, okay. All right. I will.
You could refer to him as the king also if you want, but that's not necessary. Like, you
King.
know.
Okay. Okay. All right. Cool.
Thanks.
I will keep that in mind.
Do you think that? Oh God, you're such a creep, Credence. But if I brought it out, would you sign my cyber deck for me?
Totally.
So
Love meeting a fan. Love meeting a fan.
All right, I'll see you in a few minutes.
Okay. Bye. And I will out of the connection, and I will turn to Slade and say, "Hey, so I talked to their decker. Don't sing any Elvis songs. Don't make any Elvis jokes. Don't, just like." Don't do the thing. And if you want to call him the king, he'll probably like that.
Okay, that's fine. So,
and the Decker's putting in a good word for us, so that maybe it'll be a little smoother, maybe a little easier. Apparently, this dude is super duper fucking paranoid. But the Decker was a fan, so I pulled a couple strings. Hopefully, that's okay. I'm not stepping on your toes.
No. And in this moment, any advantage we can have is perfect. So the name isn't just a thing, like it's a lifestyle. Yeah, that's what I'm understanding.
Yeah.
Well, as you say that, you see one of the RVs, one of the trailers, as a neon sign in a window that says Heartbreak Motel. And it's flickering a little bit.
Oh my God. Is that where we're going to take our break?
It's going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a lot of fun.
That's almost where we're going to take our break. As you approach, the door opens. This orc steps out. And I'm going to let the mini that I'm putting on.
Oh God, we get to see art. This is going to be the. Oh my.
Justice.
Yes!
Oh my
God. Be so much fun.
Hell yeah.
Or Elvis.
Hell yeah.
As he comes out with a cigar between two fingers and goes, "Let's have a chat, baby. And remember, don't be cruel." And on that note, my friends, on the note of Elvis, the orc fixer, and there's a little more thing to that Elvis thing, and we'll see it after the break. We're going to take our break. We're going to take a short break. Go get ourselves some refreshments, maybe a double bacon cheeseburger fried. What was it that?
Peanut butter banana bacon sandwich.
There you go.
Ooh. God damn.
Hey, you were ready with that answer.
Like I said, this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, my friends, thank you so much for hanging out. Everyone in chat hanging out and just watching us goof off. Appreciate you. Thanks, Justin. Thank you, Dr. Penguin. I like where it's going to. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be back in a few minutes, hang out, and we will see you shortly. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
We're back, and apparently we're about to cook.
Oh yeah.
Now, we have one of our players here, Ian, your boy Big.
Mm-hmm.
Boy Big's got
and Antonio Drift.
got the San Antonio Drift. He's got a gift with the San Antonio Drift, and we've been waiting to see him cook all episode, but now he in the kitchen and he's got those ramekins with like all the prep done, and I went ahead and I gave him Elvis to play with. My friend.
Why'd you gotta say it like that?
Because who knows where this might take us. My friend, you step up to the RV, you notice another man up on the roof of another RV nearby. You notice because he's not really trying to hide. He's kind of giving you the professional courtesy of letting you know that he's up there with, a weapon, just so you know. Prevent, not cure, You see this orc step out. He's got a double-barreled sawn-off shotgun hanging at his hip, kind of like, like none's there. He's got a big old stogie of the cheapest variety a man can find.
Before
GDTRFB.
Hey.
And he steps out and he looks.
Before Slade steps forward, he turns to Merlin and he goes, "Okay, friend, I'm gonna let you go now." Pats his hand a little bit more, and while he puts his hand down, he activates his pheromone dispenser.
Man, I thought you were gonna pull a gun and shoot him. I was like, wow.
It's a backup plan.
All this build up, he just plugs him.
Wow.
Right? I know exactly what to do. Bow.
Tell us what
Stand back while I do this.
So the pheromone dispenser first begins to smell like freshly cooked bacon, like still in the pan. And then that gently fades, kind of like tingling the senses to your hunger. But then after the wisp of that smell, it smells like Linnell for men, which is a strong, woodsy fragrance that any person who respects the king knows that was his favorite cologne to wear. Bleak, before I move forward.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Ian, are you like an Elvis guy? Are you an Elvis head?
He's taking all this in, sorry.
Bleak, before I move forward, I want to thank you for this because my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, God rest his soul, and my wife and her best friend are the biggest Elvis fans that I know.
I mean,
and so we're gonna have some fun.
Yes.
I'll try to keep up.
Does he get karma for this, please? Like already?
Man, it's got to. He does at home if he doesn't on the stream.
So it's definitely that initial wisp of bacon because again, anybody who respects the king knows that those smells, especially somebody who grew up in the South, that just reminds you of home. It reminds you of your folks. It reminds you of Sunday mornings, and then just that gentle wisp of that fragrance that is known out with any Elvis encounter makes you feel good. It makes you feel strong. And Slade turns around and he looks at Elvis and he goes, "It's an absolute pleasure to meet you."
I gotta say, there's definitely some in the air. You come to me smelling quite remarkable. I gotta tell you, I like it. I like it a lot.
Some would call it a lovely interaction. I more refer to it as an unchained melody.
He kind of like, almost as if you like hit him, he's like, well, I would hate to think that you're using any form of trickery on me. I would certainly hate entering into these negotiations with suspicious mind.
Ooh, now listen, don't be cruel. I'm here with the best of intention. But if you find that I may be a devil in disguise, you're more than welcome to sit down with me one-on-one, and we can ease your suspicious mind.
Listen here, man. Listen here. You gotta know. Down there, you're in the ghetto. Now, I would really hate to have to turn you around and return you to sender. I would much rather sit here and work out some sort of deal with you. Because I gotta tell you, I smell something else on you. I smell credits. I smell cash. And I do have me burning love for cash.
Well, you are in good company because I can't help but falling in love with credits. And I do have enough to spare. But before you get all shook up, how about you and we sit down and we have a drink and share one of these? And he pulls out the cigar case.
What you're saying is a little less conversation. Well, it's now or never. You can approach the king.
And he approaches.
Let's see what you got.
Candy doesn't say anything, but she's fucking impressed.
Yeah.
Before you say
I
it.
approach. Yeah.
Before you say it, I ain't gonna kiss you quick.
That's perfectly fine. I'm
Are
more
you
rather
lonesome
waiting.
tonight, Elvis?
He
Tell
looks
the
at Merlin
backup
and goes,
singer to stay in the back.
he looks at Merlin and goes, stop it.
Do I sense anything with my astral looking upon him? He doesn't have
Smell a
anything
lot of
going on.
mirth coming from
Okay.
all the people around you. Nothing untoward.
Can I look up at that guy up on the roof that we saw who was making a show to look nonchalant?
Yeah. You look up at him.
Okay. Then I'll pull back into my regular senses so I can get the full measure of Slade's skill here.
All right, we've gone up and down the radio charts. How about we get down to some business?
Sounds good. I don't want to cause any more trouble waters, if that's okay.
That's all right. In the end, we're going to do it my way.
And that's fine. I just think the wonder of you is more so impressive than this entire interaction.
You keep going this way, and I'm going to end up stuck on you.
Don't kiss me quick, like you said.
No, but I'll remember you.
Oh my goodness, I think I may have a fever.
I'm feeling it too. Feel it
Welcome
right
to
down
my
here.
world.
Feel it down there. Feel it everywhere. It's in my damn legs. Oh, baby.
Mm,
Give me one of them stogies.
cool. And he hands him one. That was fun. That was
Flip it.
Meanwhile,
No.
Candy is passively like researching Elvis song names because she's completely lost because she's young. She may be an elf, but she's a young elf. And she's just like, the fuck are they talking about? What is this?
Yeah, my reference was completely accidental. Merlin has no idea what they're talking about. He's just like, what? That's a weird way to say that, but okay. Well, Slade's doing his thing,
Let's talk brass tacks. What do you need from me?
Well, it looks like we're going to be heading somewhere. We're going to need additional help. Is Candy and Merlin in with us too?
Yeah, you're all kind of on this porch now.
Got it. In an effort to make sure that we take care of business, we need an extra piece of equipment. Candy, can you remind me what that piece of equipment is?
I say the name of the thing, so I forgot as well.
Second-hand Medvedev.
That's it.
Space probe control unit.
Space probe control unit.
You need a
Yeah.
joystick.
Yes.
Pretty much.
That's a hell of a piece of equipment to be asking about. Are you planning on going into space?
Trying to go on vacation, really.
I suggest the beach.
Actually, more like my vacation's deep sea.
Well, anything's possible.
It is.
I remember doing the splits. My pants not splitting on me, so anything's possible.
Yeah. Well, you're more lucky than I. If I can dream, of course.
Candy
Now,
just
the real question. Sorry, go ahead.
Candy's just like, yeah, song names, cool game.
Can I be real forward and ask you, what did you be willing to pay for a set piece of equipment?
How much you asking for?
Well, before we get into numbers, out of all respect, and I do excuse our young friend here, they're new to this, but they're very valuable. It's not about what we're willing to pay. It's more so of what needs to be gained. See, credits are here and there. They make the world go round. And somebody like yourself, I'm sure you don't have a problem combining them. But respect, power, and someone's comeuppance. That's what I'm willing to gain with just your simple joystick. Now, a person of the people, as you are, as your namesake is, I'm sure you'd be interested in supporting that. Because in your utopia here of Graceland, I know that you have a little bit of room to maybe spare a simple part for just some peace of mind.
Hold on, baby. Are you suggesting that the king give you his joystick for free?
No, I'm not suggesting, because nothing comes for free. Everything comes for hard work. But I think it'll be a little bit easier on your mind and on your soul if you know exactly what it's going towards.
My soul. My soul, you say?
Yeah.
What do you know about my soul?
I don't know much. But I can tell a man of your caliber holds a great deal in his own soul. And if all of these people look up to you, as I can see that they do, it's a lot to bear.
The soul, my friend. Something that stays right here, right deep inside of you. It comes from deep inside of you and it reaches out and it affects all the people around you. It reaches out and it brings out to the people around you what you carry inside of you. And if in your soul is blues and rock and roll, that is what you put out there. And if in your soul is lies and deceit, that is what you put out there. The soul does not lie. The soul tells all. Now, you come over here, you got the little cologne going, you're saying the right words, give me the sob story about, oh, I don't know, want to get back at a man done you wrong, maybe he took your gal, maybe he took your car, maybe he killed your dog, I don't know what he did, but he done you wrong. But what you're not telling me, what you're not showing me, is your soul, baby. I need you to lay your soul bare to me right now. I need you to put it right here in my feet. I need to see it. I need to smell it. I need to touch it. I need to know exactly what it's made of.
Well, King, you require a big ask from me. And it's not something that I'm not willing to pay. I'm just apprehensive. I'm more than happy to tell you what's in here. Are you willing to see it?
Look, my man Slade and his family stone. I will always be willing to take a look at what's in a man's soul. There's nothing scares me. I've seen it all. I've done it all. I live right here underneath the smokestacks. And still, there's a song in my soul. That is what my soul is made of. And because of that, I am not afraid of any other man's soul. Share your soul with me. Bring it out. Bring it out. Show it to me right now. Let's see what kind of song is in your soul.
Okay. Fine. So, with my ocular parsing unit, it does. I did take the opportunity to record.
Mm-hmm.
I assume with that recording capability, I'm able to play back things.
Yep.
Okay. Is it a situation to where it kind of just projects itself from my eye, or do I need to hook into something?
No, you wouldn't be able
I
to.
might be able to help.
I was just going to say, you would want
Yeah.
to reach out to your friend.
Okay. Candy, I'm going to need your assistance. If this man wants to take a deeper look, let's provide it to him.
Oh, I see. Okay. And I will connect with your ocular processing unit and kind of like
Now,
Like I'm
hold on
pulling
1
it.
second.
Hmm?
You're going to connect to his ocular parsing, which you can absolutely do.
Mm-hmm.
When you do that, you'll be able to see everything that's in there.
Everything?
Everything. Now,
Oh.
I would assume Slade would know this. So, Slade, I'm letting you know that if Candy gets in there, Candy's going to have access to everything you got in there. Everything you got recorded, everything that's stored up in there.
I mean, but that doesn't mean I have to look at it or take it.
No, it doesn't mean you don't have to. I'm just telling you what his character would know.
Okay.
Now, because it's cyberware, it is intrinsically part of your body. So my ruling would be that you can't absolutely shut her out of it, but you can decide not to let her in, which case she has to do a test to get in. But because it is part of your body, if you decide to let her in, she's just going to be able to get in. But your character would know that you're basically taking your home computer with all your, OnlyFans stuff, and you're giving it to the tech repair guy.
Yeah.
Tech repair guy is going to tell he's not going to look at the stuff, but he's looking at the stuff.
He does, yeah.
No, that's fine. And then with knowing that if Candy decides to go down a dark corner, I will answer honestly what they see.
Okay. All yours.
I am simply going to, you say that, I get the hint, I connect to the processing unit, and almost like I'm tugging on a thread, I just kind of pull, just the visual imagery out. It's a blank screen until you project what you want to project. But
Okay.
there is now a little hologram in the middle of the air in the room.
The first thing that everyone sees is that they do see a very lavish room. It's a meeting room that's been set up, and it looks like an office space for Slade. In there's a series of there's storage decks, and there's of course empty bottles of champagne, and it just seems like a working lavish office. And from the vision of him, you can see people walking in and walking out, and it's almost like a montage of business. You see him leave the room, you see him interacting with a lot of other people, shaking some hands with some somewhat dark figures and somewhat family figures, and you see his vision shift. And in almost in bullet time, you see Lorenzo walking in. And you only see Lorenzo, but then you see two little girls that pop up from behind him, and they run up to Slade, and his vision lowers, and you can see him embracing these two girls and immediately whisking them away to another part of this establishment, because of course this is not what they need to see. And then you see flashes and images of him interacting with Lorenzo and his wife and the girls, and there's moments to where he's speaking to him and Lorenzo's worried, and then you see a transfer of credits. You see you see him at birthday parties, and then you see him with Merlin, and the moments after their leg was taken from them and the stress that was provided to Merlin, and Slade doing his best to console them. And then you see him looking at himself in the mirror, and he looks tired and he's ragged, and almost that he's spent some time crying. And then you see him splash water on his face, and he pushes his hair back, and he buttons up his shirt, and he turns around, and you see that you're back in that same office, and you walk back out that door, and you see the same scene of Lorenzo and the two girls coming out from behind him and him embracing them again. And then it kind of flickers and goes black. And then he looks at Elvis and he goes, "My soul is in the people that I hold close. And they're here with me now. And there are some that need to be here, and they cannot because of this person." And he shows a vision of, gosh, their name escaped me again. I'm sorry.
Corben Veil.
Corben Veil. Because of this person. My main goal is to get back everything you saw there. The lights, the lavish, the influence, the perks, the notoriety. But the biggest thing to get back is this. And he flashes the image of Lorenzo's two little girls. Those girls need their father. Souls in the people. These are my people. I think you're muted.
You muted, Blake.
Pulls off his glasses and wipes away a little tear in the corner there and goes, "I can respect that. Tell you what. I'll let you have it. And any other thing within reason that you might need that I got on hand, of course. Here at the Heartbreak Motel. We'll come up with a number, something not too spicy, that we can both digest easily enough, just perform. What I'm gonna need from you. What I'm gonna need from you is when all this is over, and you've got all those people back around you, I'm gonna need you to come back here and see me. And we're gonna sit right here on my porch. And we're gonna pour ourselves a nice little drink. And we're gonna put some good music on. Then we're gonna watch your people and my people enjoy themselves together. And we're gonna forget all that shit out there. That sound good to you?
I want nothing more, and I thank you for that.
You had me all misty-eyed there, baby.
Ah,
Not every day the king goes misty-eyed. I expect you to keep that out of papers. Wouldn't do for the old reputation.
Keep what out of the papers? I just had a very wonderful conversation with the king. That's it.
All right. Credence, you go on, bring that box out here, would you? And the door to the trailer opens, and you see this little orc girl, maybe about 12 years old. Couple pigtails, the whole 9 yards. She's wearing a little jacket with no sleeves on, like her daddy, but the jacket is kind of very similar to something Mandy would wear or is wearing. Mandy, you know that it's the jacket you were wearing last year.
Oh my god. Yep.
She comes out all snot-nosed and
She found the same one on eBay or something.
yeah,
Nice.
you can see the little data jag that gleams under her ear here.
Oh.
And she's just staring at Candy, and she comes over and she brings a little plastic container and gives it to you, Slade, still staring at Candy. It's in here. Thank you, Credence.
Uh-oh, all
Thank
the
you.
cameras got taken off the stream. Gotcha. Okay. No worries.
But we can still be heard. That's what matters.
Okay. That's what I was checking on. Thank you. Candy just kind of, she did not anticipate the king having a Decker that is also his child.
Slade fully moves out of the way and allows Candy to do their thing.
So
She's looking up at you.
she glances at Elvis with like a little smile and looks over to Credence and says, when we're done with this talk, you still want the autograph?
Yeah, if you don't mind, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
Of course.
Oh, check this out. She turns around, and on the back of the jacket, painstakingly done by hand with these little diamonds, are the words Candy Crew.
Audibly, Slade goes, "That is sick. That
is so.
That is.
I've made it. I've officially peaked. I've done it. I've done it all. She is just like so flattered because most of the people who talk to her that are fans are just like fanboys who live in their mom's basement. And they, it's almost never like younger Deckers who are just getting started, and now she's starting to see that, and there's just this girl in front of her, and she is just like ready to cry, but she reins it in. She has to be cool. She has to be just like the girl in the posters. And
it's look, Candy, don't. This is the moment to where you show them that they're just like you. Let it go.
She kind of she hears Slade say that, and she just kind of like I imagine Creden's hands over the box. She just kind of crouches down in front of the kid, who's probably not that tall yet if she's that young. Right?
No, very small.
So she'll crouch down, even though she's pretty small herself. She crouches down, so she's a little bit shorter than Credence. And she says, "You have no idea how much meeting you means to me."
I was just thinking the same thing. That's wow. I thank you, and she leans over and
oh yeah,
gives you a little hug.
Yeah, absolutely gets a hug.
Do you still want to sign my deck? And
Yes.
she pulls it. She's got
Yes.
like a sling under her vest thing, and she pulls it up. She's got this little
Chew.
Ono Sendai, which is actually like a pretty decent deck. Like
Yeah.
you would say, like
Wow, nice.
and she's got a bunch of different little stickers and things on, but you could definitely recognize a couple of things connected to you and all that. And you kind of eyeball it, but you don't see anything about Dodger, so you kind of relax.
Yeah. I'm looking for stuff about Dodger. When I don't see any, I'm like, yes.
There's not. She's too young. She's not from the Dodger generation.
Yeah. No, that was my generation, I guess. And she will absolutely she'll sign it, and she'll say, so how long have you been decking for? How many years?
Since I was about 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah, we started in school, and I did some tests, and they said that I had the aptitudes for it. And my dad didn't want at first for me to get a data jack. He was like, you're going to regret it someday. You're going to get that on your body, and then at some point down the line, you're going to like wish you hadn't, and you're too young. But she kind of looks up at her daddy, and Elvis says, then when I saw how much it meant to her and how much talent she actually had, I was like, well, Elvis, you old bastard, what if someone had said that to you in your first guitar? So here we are. Just gotta learn to let go at some point. It's kind of scary sometimes, knowing she's out there and some of the shit that's on the grid. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. You've seen it.
Yeah.
You hear his voice kind of changing. He's kind of dropping as he's talking about his daughter. He's starting to drop the Elvis thing, and it's like it's a little worrisome sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, but it's her dream, and she's good at it, and she's careful, and she, does what she's supposed to do. So,
well, if you ever want a lesson sometime.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great. I've been trying to like write worms, but and she just starts going into like this super jargon heavy.
Yes.
And you totally realize, like, she
actually knows.
She knows, but she's still kind of.
She's a baby, but she knows some stuff.
Yeah. And she's like, so that would be great to know how to do that. And then, what kind of deck do you use? Like, I know you used to use a Fairlight Excalibur, but like, there's been no updates. Like, what are you using these days?
Oh, still using the Excalibur. It treats me well.
And
great. I've got like a long sleeve jacket on, and I'm not showing anything. And I'm, I'm like, it's really handy. I definitely recommend it. Something to aspire to, maybe. But I mean, the deck you've got is really, really good too, especially for someone just starting out. I think you're in a really good spot. And hey, and she gets a little ping in her face. And it's like a little text message that has like a throwaway email address, not like anything direct to her. And she's like, it is one of her email addresses, but it's not like a main one that she uses. And she goes, here's you can reach me by writing here, and we'll set up a lesson sometime. Make sure you tell your dad first. It'll just be basic stuff, she says, looking at Elvis. Nothing nothing nefarious, nothing too crazy. But I'd love to help you get to writing some worms and different ways you can protect yourself while you're out there in the net.
Oh, shitballs, that's so sick. Sorry, Dad. It's like whatever we said. But we've talked about the language, right? Like, and there's some hot decker out there on the grid, that's fine. But around this house, we don't use that kind of language, right? It's like,
and
sorry,
Andy,
Dad.
Our benefactor, who of course will be assisting with the king's request here, of course, and looking at the king, not too spicy, but I'm sure they have enough within our budget to potentially upgrade Credence's deck 2. And he's looking at her and he's like,
Yeah, I think we've got some wiggle room there. Yeah, for sure.
for the kids.
Yeah, for the kids. Yeah, we can do that. I know how much money I can.
Yeah, you have access to discretionary fund.
Yeah.
You're all good. So yeah, you'll be able to set that up. Sure, no problem.
So in terms of, I'm gonna hop out of character real quick. In terms of like equipment that we might need for the job ahead, do I have like a running list of things that the king might have, the Elvis might have, that
Yeah, for sure.
I might need?
Yeah, so we'll sort that out between the two games. But
Okay, yeah, that's perfectly fine.
But anything,
So I'll have a discussion with him about it, and we'll come to a number that makes sense. And
okay, no problem. There's no stress on that.
Okay,
it's all good. So yeah, so you'll finish negotiation that, sort of bartering that. At some point, you'll get pinged by Orphe. You'll say that the operation was a success. They're leaving the place. They got the code. He will get it to you, and you know the overlay sequence of it, and so on and so forth. Going to ask for sit rep, sort of how things are going, and then he'll say that you probably need to move and get out there right quick, because at this point there's been so much movement and chatter about this that Orcus might be pricking their ears. So he'll say that there's a helicopter that's coming to pick them up, and then once they've been delivered back, he'll send it back with Lorenzo to pick you up. He gives you a meeting point, and then this will take you up to Polaris up north, so you can kind of get cracking on this. It says that you can grab a few Z's on the helicopter, or once you get to Polaris, you probably have enough time to set up a little bit of a camp. And Polaris, you turn around and you get a couple of camping gear equipment from the Arctic camping gear equipment from Elvis. So once all that's sorted and you're kind of ready to be on your way to meet the helicopter, Elvis will say, "Remember what you said now."
Me?
Sorry, he's pointing at Slade. Remember what you said. When this is over,
It'll be the first thing we do.
Bring her in.
Yeah, of course.
I gotta ask you a question though.
Yeah.
Why did you stop smelling the way you smelled?
Wanted you to focus on my words and not how good I smelled and look.
Baby, the king was just focusing on your words the entire time. But the smells help. I'm not gonna lie. It's a nifty little trick.
Thank
you. And so a few months later, LoJack will come down also and sort of hang out, and you'll get to meet his entire operation, his crew. He'll say, obviously, if ever you need a fixer, you need some connections, he'll more than glad to sort of help and work with any of you all again. And
I do have a question, a GM question. Yep. So my big dream is to regain contacts and social power. That was one of like their compulsions in this entire interaction. Does that give me any karma or anything?
Yeah, so absolutely, that totally makes sense. Let me just double check. Let me check exactly what it does give you. Your big dream.
50 karma.
Right?
Man.
50 karma.
Wouldn't that be great? When taking an action, pursue your big dream, you may be awarded karma. Absolutely. So I will absolutely go ahead and give you. I'll give you a karma point for that business. Absolutely.
Take it. Thank you.
What are all your big dreams? Actually, let's take a look at that. Oops. Your big dream.
Oh God. Isn't mine just to be the best decker?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give you a point also because your connection you made with this girl, she's going to be out there just sort of spreading the gospel.
Oh my God.
Left, right, and center.
No, I'm going to cry. Stop.
Kevin, your big dream, you want to lay down these... Oh, wow, that's a hardcore big dream.
Hey, man.
Where's Big Dream on the sheet? Am I blind?
It's above
under
wits and
essence.
empathy.
Oh.
There.
your
Yeah,
essence,
yours are not
yeah.
filled
Ah.
in. We had talked about them, but you hadn't filled in the compulsion and the big green. Kevin, talk to me about that. You want to lay down these burdens once and for all? Is that
Yeah.
uh,
Merlin wants to be done with the life, like to be done with the whole constantly running, constantly worried, constantly having to be in the middle of a crime-filled existence. He wants to just be able to be, just to kind of go off the grid and kind of just do his thing. He's come to accept that he'll never be a surgeon again because that weighs over to him. He'll never get back into that. Orcus really burned him with that, so he's just gonna accept that. But he can finally find a way, with the right kind of score, with the right kind of job, he can maybe finally be done doing this.
okay. So I'm gonna say actually between that and your compulsion, which is to
I hate
be disdainful
Orcus.
towards Orcus, which I remember
hate
you
him.
were earlier. So I'll say you also deserve a karma point for because you're not taking active steps. I mean, if you get this payoff, $5 million, 5 million new yen, even split between the rest of you, that would be like a step towards being able to do that. So the compulsion, Mandy. The compulsion is a negative aspect you can't
I put
help.
question marks in mine.
Your compulsion is a negative aspect that you can't help yourself but to follow. So it could be to lie, to kill, to corrupt, to inebriate yourself, a short fuse, etc. So your compulsion might be to choose fame over anything else. So, for example, if someone said, you would, if you had two offers, one that would bring you fame, one that would bring you money, you would go for the fame, to a detriment. It has to be something that you would fall to a detriment. So, for example, if you were to successfully stealth hack Orcus, you might be tempted to tag.
Oh.
So
shit.
that's what a compulsion is. It's like it's something that's detrimental, but you can't help yourself but to do it.
I think in that case, my compulsion would be less about like vanity or fame and more about taking like insane fucking jobs like this one, knowing that I might not succeed, which is tangentially vanity in a way, but like specifically that taking on like the harder challenge, like even if it's harder than it needs to be.
Okay, so you can just write it out however you want, something like that. But yeah, that totally makes sense, and would totally work for the character. So that's cool. Right, so everyone can grab a karma point, which is obviously a permanent karma, not a good karma. It's a permanent karma that you get for.
So now I have 6.
You had a few left over. I think you had 3 left over, so you got 5. So you're at 8. So now you're 9.
I don't know if my thing is calculating right. So
You
do I
had
add
3
to good karma or do I add to permanent?
Permanent. You had 3 in permanent karma. Then you got 5 early at the start of the game, so you're up to 8. And now you just got another one, so you're up to 9.
So my permanent karma would increase to 6
No,
to get to that
9.
9 number.
To 9.
It would increase to 9. Okay.
Yeah.
So you had
I thought
3.
you meant I thought permanent and good karma were being added together because those did add to 8, and then you said 9. So I got confused.
Sorry, no, they're separate.
Okay, so permanent
you have
is
karma
9,
because you did the other run. So since
Right.
you've done the first game, I gave you a few permanent karma to start the game with to kind of signify that you were a little ahead of the curve. So I gave you 3, and then you got 5 earlier, and now you just got another one, so you're up to 9.
Okay.
Another one,
Thank
and
you.
you get an edge. So you're good.
Yay.
Perfect. Yeah,
All
so you
right.
have 9 and we have 6.
Sorry about that.
Correct.
No
Thanks for
problem.
learning.
Cool.
So, for example, with a karmic nudge, you can increase your die in a skill, you can learn a new spell, or you can buy a new trait. With 2 karmic nudges, you can add a step to a die in your attributes. So that's on the creation tab. All right. So, anyways, we'll deal with that later. So you will find yourselves getting boxes, crates of stuff, loading them into the GMC Bulldog. You've made some new friends. You can add Elvis to your contacts. On your sheet, there's a space for contacts. You can add Elvis if you want as a fixer. You will
I'm gonna say Elvis and Credence.
Okay. And she's named after Elvis's second grade musical Love.
Yep.
That's right.
I
You're muted,
hear
by
they're
the way.
due up for a revival, actually.
So we'll fast forward a little bit, just for the sake of time. You pick up your gear, you pick up everything you need, you got the joystick. You find yourselves eventually on a helicopter. Lorenzo comes back and there's a helicopter. It's not piloted, it's Orphe that's piloting it remotely. The helicopter, basically he's giving you an address just a little bit outside of town. You go there, you pick it up. Orphe will drive the GMC Bulldog back remotely also, and it'll be waiting for you when you come back. And you find yourselves, my friend, you probably get a bit of rest in the helicopter. It takes a couple hours to get up to the place where you're going. At some point, you'll get a ping from Orphe. They'll say that Orcus has become aware that there's chatter and activity going on. Considering it, they don't know exactly what yet. They're putting together the pieces right now, especially when it comes to the fact that the five mute daughters were taken. He says that he's protecting Philia and that she's being kept safe. You will eventually find yourselves once more arriving in the north at the research station of Polaris, where we began tonight's adventure. The helicopter has dropped you off and it's flying away. The wind is coming in off the bay and just cutting right through you. You can see off in the distance the lights of the Medvedev cartage base. You can also see off in the water, fairly far off near a couple of small islands, you can see the Paternoster, the elevator that's there, another track you didn't take. You can't see the thermonuclear reactor and the other things. It's way too far and it's beyond the forest and some mountains. However, in front of you is the skeleton, as I was saying earlier, the remains of the Polaris Research Center. You have still a number of hours before dawn. I am assuming that you would want to try and probably hit Medvedev when it's still kind of dark. So I will say that you quickly set up your camp inside the building, inside the remains of the building. Technology is pretty advanced, so you've got like a nice little heated, little tent with the separate compartments from everyone. You're warm and you're comfy. You cook some food, have some coffee, manage to get a little bit of rest. So you get a shift's worth of rest, so you can regain your spent resolve. You can heal up any wounds that you have. As I said, we'll worry about the gear sort of between games. I don't want to get bogged down with that. But when it comes to the gear in between the games, you can look at the gear tab. There's a gear tab near your character sheets. And you can pick up pretty much any weapon that you would want, except maybe, I don't think you'd be able to get a machine gun. So maybe not a machine gun. You could get anything except security armor. Anyways, we'll talk about it, but you could get most of what's on there, so you can look through that, including stim hypos and things like that. So we'll deal with that in between the games. For now, just for the remainder of this game, for the next little few minutes that are left, if there's anything you need, you just have it, and that's fine. We'll deal with that later.
Groovy.
Sounds good.
You will, however, again, just to in the interest of moving along a little bit, you will get some rest, and then early, with still a few hours of darkness, you will set off towards the Medvedev base. You have with you, one of the things that you brought with you are these sort of strange snowshoes that have a motor in them and kind of move you forward. So they're kind of like mini snowmobiles kind of thing, where it's kind of like a Segway, but it's kind of like a snowmobile truck, so you can get on that and you will ride up. You will eventually approach the base. So we're going to do this a little bit simple because I kind of wanted you to go through this and kind of get us up to the next part for next game. You're going to approach the base. I would like all of you, as you approach, it's dark, it's cold, you're kind of out of your element, you're out in the middle of the, you know, the wilds. So you're not necessarily like really comfortable and happy with what's going on, but go ahead and give me wits plus vigilance. Now, hold on a sec. So if you're scoping out just with your eyes, give me a wits plus vigilance. If Kevin, if you want to use your magical senses and check that out, you can give me a magic and insight. And Mandy, if you want to use Oscar and whatnot, you can give me your wits plus tech.
Okay.
Yeah, I will use
I
my
wanted
Astral
to-
Voyager. Yep.
Go on the tech route.
If I wanted to use the thermal structure on my cyber eye, would that give me anything?
I'll basically, if there is something that it would detect, I will take it into account.
Okay.
I got 1 success and it's critical.
Awesome, cool, critical success for you. And what about you, Kevran?
2 successes, just regular.
Yeah, so that's a critical. So whenever you get more than 1 success, it becomes a critical.
Oh, okay,
Roll a 10 or higher, it's automatically a critical,
gotcha. Yeah,
and it counts as 2. So if you were to roll a 10 and a 6, you would have 3 successes.
gotcha. Cool. Yes, yeah, so 2.
So that's
Or
each of you has
Yeah, I
critical.
got-
and-
I got
Sorry.
a 12 on my D12 roll.
okay, and the other one was
Just a 1.
okay. So that's 2 successes and a critical. Kevin's 2 successes and a critical, and Slade.
1 success.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll start with Slate. So you're scoping out the place. You don't detect any heat signatures at all. In fact, you realize that the heaters and the turbines went out in the back, like the generators are not running. Everything's cold. There's really no heat signatures, nothing at all. The place looks super quiet, dark, like almost like it's abandoned. Mandy, you reach out, and I'll say 2 things happen with you. One is your own senses kind of reaching out to you. There is almost nothing working. You don't sense any computer systems activated. You don't sense any security systems activated. You do
No
get
surveillance?
nothing. You do get some dormant systems at the core of the building that are active, probably emergency generators or something like that. But there's nothing. The lights are not on. Basically, there's nothing kind of working.
Power's down.
Yeah. And you also send Oscar out, and Oscar does kind of a visual recon. And you got a critical success. Oscar says, "Oh dear," and he sends back images of dead bodies littering the area around the base. Give me, Mandy, give me a wits and vigilance just to see if you can
Wits and
detect
vigilance?
something. Yeah.
Understood. Okay, that's...
Kevin, I haven't forgotten you. I'll get to you in a second.
You're all good.
No successes.
Okay, so there's maybe 7 or 8 bodies splayed out different parts. Looks like gunshot wounds.
We got bodies, gunshots, gunshot
Kevin, you
wounds.
reach out with your senses. You feel that there's a spike in the background count here. Something happened. You don't. You had a critical success, right?
Yeah, like 2 regular successes, which you said is a critical. Yep.
Something happened. There's a spike in the background count. There was violence. Which with Mandy saying, with Candy saying there's dead bodies would make sense. The sense that you get as you reach out, the closest thing you've kind of seen to it is what you saw with Mandy or Candy earlier, that kind of mixture, those 2 twines, and it's dissipating, like it's old and it's kind of fading, like the scent of perfume, after a while in a room or something like that. It's fading away, but it's got that same kind of flavor to it. There's definitely that kind of hanging in the air. I do also want to point out, Kevin, one of the things you can do is summon elementals. If you summoned an elemental from this place, you could, and you got successes, one of the things you could do is ask it questions. Just, you don't have to do them just because we don't know the system, but that's something you can do, is you can summon an elemental of the place, and you could, if you got successes and they owed you a service, you could ask them questions if you want.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you have all this information, you're a little bit away from the base. What do you do?
They were hit. They were exterminated. It would seem that either someone didn't want us to find exactly what they were working on here, or it's very bad timing. I would have my suspicions of who did this, but they're always in my suspicions.
Fairy godparents.
Fairy godparents.
Right. That's a deep pull right there.
Am I able to, are there any structures in the vicinity that might also have surveillance?
Yeah, but kind of far away.
Okay, so too far away for me to hack into those and see if I could see who was going.
Everything here is really kind of
sparse,
far away. There are some big, some old towers, but they're like across the bay and stuff like that. Like,
any satellites I can link into? Let me just keep going up.
Yeah, so kind of the same thing. Like,
is that out of range for me? Is that too far?
Yeah, I would think so. Like, I'm very happy to give.
I feel like that's. I'm like, damn. Like, I mean, if we're out in the open, like, if there's something else I could piggyback off of, but no,
I kind of think that, like, I would treat it like a
never gave
magical
that thought
spell,
before.
which is, if you can see it, you can hack it.
Okay.
Okay,
that's
or
fair.
if it's behind a wall, but you would be able to see that far, then you would also be able to hack it.
Not me going, can I hack space? Can I hack into space?
Not yet. You're gonna need a few more karmic nudges for that.
Oh.
Can I, from as close now? How close are we? I know you said we're not like right up in the middle of the Medvedev, but are we close enough that I have it within eyesight of some capacity?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'd like to cast my spell True Sight. So again, I make gestures in the air, cutting those pads. It almost looks like a strange web mixed with a rune type of shape in the air that I trace with my fingers really intricately, different lines bisecting others. And then what I'm going to do is my eyes glaze over for a moment. Different from when I'm astrally projecting, this is actually increasing my natural eyesight. I want to look over there. Basically, I see details at extreme range as if I'm right there in the middle of it. And I want to look around and see if there's any specific sign of how they might have been eliminated, if there's any sort of something specific that would throw that off.
Yeah, so spend your resolve to cast your spell.
That's one, so I will spend that. Yep.
And do a magic plus sorcery roll.
You got it. The D10 plus the D8. Ooh, I'm going to push that because I could push sorcery rolls because I had no successes and I want to make sure I get this. So I just re-roll.
That costs a resolve to push.
Yep. And so I just re-roll the smaller one, or that's all of them? I'm sorry.
And no, if you spend a resolve to push, you re-roll all your failures.
Okay, that's what I thought. I hadn't done it yet. Oh, that's a lot better. So the one is a 10, the other one is a 5. So it is one success, but it is a critical
success because 10 counts as 2. Yeah.
That's a resolve. So.
So when you go and you scope it out, the thing that you get that unfortunately Candy and missed with the roll earlier was a lot of the bodies you see look like they were shot in the back while they were attempting to flee the base.
Yeah.
And the best vantage point would be there's a comms tower. So the best vantage point to snipe at people would be from up there. I don't know. Can you move your spell and go and see there, or?
It's anything that's basically within extreme distance. I can see it as if I'm standing there. As I like,
Okay, so you could
if I
shift
shift my
your-
gaze, it'll be like it's like I'm standing in the middle of the base, looking
Like you're
around,
fucking
so.
Sauron is what's going on.
Fuck yeah, there we go.
This huge beam of orange light shoots out of his face. You do see when you look up at the top of the comms tower, you see a figure there. Looks like there's like some camping gear and stuff like that, like a burner and some food. But the figure has a sniping rifle, and it looks like he shot himself in the head with a pistol, and he's just sort of lying there dead.
There's one shooter was eliminating others as they fled, but they've been self-removed from the equation, it would seem. Definitely this was a hit job. This was something or someone did not want these people, the skeleton crew, to reveal what was going on here. Maybe they knew that we were trying to take this path, or maybe someone else has a different purpose for Medvedev.
Can I
And you
browse the
Into
dark web
Ooh.
and see if I can hear any whisperings of some kind of clandestine operation?
so go ahead and give me a wits plus tech.
What's plus tech? Because I kind of want to know if I can figure out what this is before we go in, because, you know. 1 success.
Yeah, so you pick up a little bit of chatter. It's very muted right now,
Okay.
but there's chatter of Medvedev, something occurring at one of Medvedev's outlying outposts. No one's really talking what happened, but they shut it down really abruptly. Few hours ago, probably, like while you were in flight.
Shit.
Wow.
There's
this
no
just happened.
details on what's happened, but chatter is that they closed it down and they're moving to send a scrub team.
I relay that information to my compatriots here. This happened today. Cleanup crew was called in probably while we were in the air.
They are en route. You figure you got maybe 30 minutes before they show up.
Fuck.
And I relay that as well.
Ian's like, fuck this shit, I'm out here.
Yeah, he's out. He's done.
Let's fucking
I did the
Cleanup
talking.
crew.
He's like, I did the
Alright.
Elvis talking. I don't need to worry about these guys.
all right.
I've done my job.
We got 40 minutes. Let's get in, get the suit, and get the fuck out.
Yeah, let's hustle. Let's move.
Here we go.
Let's hustle for the muscle.
I want to send Oscar ahead to see if he can get eyes on the state of the suits, if there are any suits, where they're located.
Okay, so yeah, so you're not
Um,
looking for suits, you're looking for pods.
Oh, pods. Sorry. I thought
yeah.
it was like one of those big, like Big Daddy things from BioShock.
Oh, yeah,
no.
that'd be
No,
rad.
it's not
Well-
like the big guy.
That'd be rad.
Well, you're going to
That
have
would be cool as
something,
fuck.
if you'd have gone with the paternoster with the elevator, you would have had something like that to walk across.
Ow!
Oh,
Can we
okay, you know
retcon and
what?
go back?
I would say wreck on it.
Retcon it.
No, we've done
Not a
too
Big Daddy
much.
suit.
We've come too far.
No, Slade had character growth during this episode.
Elvis
We
will
can't
always
retcon.
be in our mind, okay?
I mean, we did get Elvis. It's true.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Go ahead and give me a wits plus tech roll, Candy. So the rest of you, I'll
Okay.
assume you're kind of approaching cautiously.
Yeah, for sure.
Tech again.
Lorenzo kind of goes ahead and scopes it out, and he'll kind of confirm as he sees the bodies that they were shot while trying to run away.
I'll again shift astrally. Just, we don't have to roll, but just I look
Motherfucker.
around to make sure there's nothing actively going, like
Yeah.
arcane bomb type
Can
of
I-
situation.
Can I push?
You spend a resolve.
I'm spending a resolve. I'm gonna push,
Spend it.
and I get to re-roll them both, right?
That's all right.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, 2 successes.
Okay.
It's only
So-
10, 11, and 12 that are criticals, right?
No, so if you get more than one success, it's a critical.
Oh,
If you get
right.
10, 11,
Sorry.
and 12, it's
Yeah.
automatically
So 2 successes, so it's critical.
You send out Oscar, who goes through it. You realize that There are a number of other people who've been shot throughout the base.
Yep.
Some of them kind of tried to fight back, so on and so forth, but it was pretty much a massacre. There's a skeleton crew here. There's maybe 13, 14 people total.
Signs of a struggle. That's sad.
As you're moving through the base and Oscar is scanning around, he's getting a layout, and he gets in and he kind of accesses one of the security things, and he gives it just enough juice to kind of activate it. He gets a plan on the place. He starts going.
Yep.
First thing he reports is that it probably is possible to get power going. If you want, he can probably do that. They'll go and find the generators and fire them up.
Yeah, let's do that and keep an eye out for our future guests.
As he's moving through the station and going downstairs, and you guys are approaching, and he's going downstairs, and he's getting the generators back on. You see lights start popping back on. I'm going to say you're pretty smart enough to realize that as the power comes on, the security system's going to come back on. So I'm going to ask you to give it a hack to see if you can shut it down to make sure that you don't get recorded, because imagine Medvedev shows up, and on the video, who do they ask? You guys.
Wits and tech, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
More than one success to get it done. So if you want to spend stuff,
what if it's a critical success?
So that's good enough. That's awesome.
I got an 11 on my D12.
Awesome. Excellent. So it kind of clicks on the second you start seeing the lights pop back on. With the lights going back on, the system's going back on, you can hack it. No. You shut down everything, but you were also smart enough to go and check the video that's been recorded already from the security cameras. And what you do see is you see one of the employees kind of walking around and killing people, and eventually getting a rifle and going upstairs, and people are trying to flee, and he's just kind of picking them off. So you kind of see everything that happened in here. As you listen to the video, and as Oscar is moving through the base, you hear coming through the speakers, and you hear it on the video also, you hear a song playing. There's a devil waiting outside your door.
Do Slade and Merlin hear that too?
They will not right now, because you're hearing it through Oscar's mics that are picking it up, and it's playing very slow. Once you get inside the base, they will. And you're hearing it because you're reviewing the footage. So unless you show it to them or tell them, they don't hear it right now.
I will put it up on a screen with audio and play it for them. This is now the second time I have heard this song since we started this job.
What does it mean?
I have no fucking clue.
Give me a wits and tech, and you can add your juicy info bonus to it.
Oh, okay. All right. I love juicy info.
Would the pop culture reference stand in this particular world?
Yeah, you might know it's an old song.
I get another D10, right, when I use juicy info?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I just muted my dice. Where did it go? Okay, well, I'll figure that out in a second. I got one success, not critical, and now I'm going to roll the D10 that I do have one more time. 2 successes, so critical.
Awesome. Something you notice when you review the video is that the guy that's doing the killing is mouthing the words of the song.
What the fuck? Blake?
Is this like a compulsion? Or?
This isn't my compulsion. I think something bad is gonna happen to me, maybe, possibly.
I would like to, without saying anything to the others, I'm going to march outside towards that tower where that person went to snipe everybody else. and you guys will notice that my limp is almost non-existent as I move. And when I get to the base of the tower, I'm going to levitate myself up to the top of it with my magic.
Spend your resolve. And I'm
Mhm.
asking you, I keep telling you because you're not
Yeah.
going to get a chance to get it back before you get
That's fine.
into the base there. So
Yep.
yeah, so you see him go up. Describe what it looks like as you go up.
So just like when I levitated that guy outside of that street dock, I just as I'm walking, I'm gesturing, and all the motes they're moving with me, almost like there's a screen in front of me that I'm drawing on, like an etch-a-sketch made out of energy. And I'm drawing, and as I'm moving, it's building and building. And then as I get to the base, I just wipe my hands away and put my hands down, and kind of like Scarlet Witch in the MCU, I just kind of start levitating up off the ground, and I float up to the top with a slight trickle of energy around the bottom of my feet. And as I get to the top, I just kind of grab onto the and like swing down in and land next to the guy. And I'm just going to look down at him and just try to see what's going on, see if there's anything specific with him.
You just look. Do you switch to astral? What do you do?
I'll do the astral projection, look for magic, see if there was anything that compelled him or made him do this or something of that nature. Yep.
Yeah, give me a magic and empathy.
Magic and empathy. Okay. I believe that's 2d10. No, d10, d8. Ooh. I can't push this, so it's gonna be a 1 and a 5.
You do have karma that you can spend to get
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I went up here. I really want to know what's going on with this guy. So I spend one of my good karma. That it works?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And that's just basically like a reroll. It's just like having the push.
So you can actually you can push sorcery rolls. Oh, but
Yeah, but-
it's right. It wasn't a sorcery. That's
Yeah,
right.
it was
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can spend a good karma and get dice of the smallest one you've rolled.
okay. So that would be actually I just realized you had me roll magic empathy. Is that two attributes?
Yeah, no, it should have been magic and insight.
Okay, well then hang on a second.
So it would have been a
would've
D6
still
instead of a D8.
would have been a push. So now I'm going to re-roll the 6 because that's my lower. And this time I get a success with 1 6.
Okay, cool. You know when you're on a Zoom call or whatever with someone and their voice starts breaking up,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like you can still hear it, but it sounds like it's coming through a mic that's kind of breaking up.
Sure.
As you switch your view and look at this guy, his head turns and he looks towards you, and you can see he's got a huge hole in the side of his head where he shot himself. He starts to talk, and when he talks, his voice comes out sounding all broken up like that. And he says, "He's coming. He's coming. He's here." Now, when you look at him again, he hasn't moved.
Sure.
You just saw.
Then I'm going to just stand there for a moment, and then I'm going to crouch down, and I'm going to pick up his sniper rifle, and I'm going to check it, make sure it's working order, make sure it's loaded and
Yep.
everything.
Some extra
And I'll
ammo
just-
lying around you can pick up.
And then I'll just turn back towards the others, and I'll just look to see what might be coming, knowing that there's something sinister on the horizon. Maybe the devil is knocking at our door right now.
What are the rest of you doing?
I was gonna say, while that was all happening, Candy just kind of looks to Slade as, you know, Merlin goes off and is doing some investigating. And she's actually focusing on you right now and says, so this is probably the part where I tell you I'm not really just a decker. Probably. In case that wasn't obvious, I'm not really hiding it super much. I just don't say it. You know?
Okay. We noticed something. I kind of put 2 and 2 together when we were going to go meet Elvis, and Merlin said something after he looked at you. So, but please, it's yours to tell.
Have you ever heard of a technomancer?
Have I ever heard of a technomant?
Give me an empathy and etiquette. Must say you need 2 successes, so try to get a crit.
Oh, great. Okay. Pushing this roll would do what again? I'm sorry.
Allow you to reroll all your failures, so you have to spend a resolve.
Even though I'm Fey Touch.
Oh no, if it's like that's just general. If you have something that allows you to avoid, I think Fate Touch basically allows you to not spend the points if you fail, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the deal?
Yeah. So elves can draw from their connection to tier, gaining the ability to push empathy rolls.
Yeah. So yeah, let's go ahead and roll. Yeah.
Okay, which is great. So 10. That's critical.
So you've heard rumors of this. People who started being born maybe a generation ago that had the ability to access computer systems without a cyber deck, like just through their minds. Super
I've
ultra
heard-
rare. Some people think it's just an urban legend. They used to be called otaku, but that eventually evolves to technomancer because it was pejorative.
You hear stories, people whispering about it. Some also like referring to it as like an urban legend or rumor, but yeah, I'm kind of familiar. Candy, it's
you're
like you're
muted.
speaking, but I can't hear you.
Oops. God damn it. She rolls up her sleeves and you can see she's not wearing a deck on either of her wrists.
Oh,
Pulls up a hologram, pulls up another screen. There's an anime playing in the corner. Boop, 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 boop. Access to the security system, access to visuals that Oscar is showing, and she's showing you all this, and there is no tech on her to be projecting any of this.
and he's kind of looking around and he's looking at things you're popping up. He's looking back at you and he's looking at things popping up and he's going, huh. Right, we walk with the boogeyman. Okay, so you're a technomancer.
She goes, yep, she just goes, and all of them go away.
Okay. Am I supposed to be scared? That's not in a disrespectful way. It's more so of inquisitive.
No, just see, I heard that song in another place. I sometimes, go to other places. It's really hard to explain because I don't really understand it myself yet. And I heard that song while I was there, and now I'm hearing it again. And I'm pretty sure the lyrics have something to do with something that's going to happen. Like maybe this is a premonition. Maybe this is some kind of elder evil tech god trying to talk to me from another dimension, like Cthulhu or some shit. I don't know. I have no idea.
Cthulhu.
I don't really know. I'm just a little worried about that song because now once is a coincidence. Well, actually, I guess twice is a coincidence and 3 times is a pattern. So if I hear it again, I'm probably going to lose my shit.
And as you say that, the speakers around the base crackle to life, and the lot of you hear, very quiet at first, but growing in intensity and in volume, this song starts to play, this Nick Cave song. There's a devil waiting outside your door, and it keeps growing and growing until it's super loud and reverberating around, and you're almost plugging your ears. And then all of a sudden,
Slade.
It
and
stops.
I call Slade and I say, he's here.
And then the music stops, and there's just a last crackle of the speaker. And that's where we'll end for tonight.
Oh, yeah, baby. Yeah. It's been
My friends, this is where we will end for tonight.
Whew.
Oh, boy.
Hot now. I'm sweating. Juicy. That's the end right there. I love it.
Juicy. Hey, thank you so much, my friends. Thanks, Steve Vancouver by night. Dropping in to see us.
Vancouver by night.
I don't know if they're still around, but thanks to Justin, Miko left. Thanks everybody who subscribed. GDR TFB, you subscribed. That's awesome. Dr. Penguin, everyone who's here. Who else has been kicking around? Alex is my name. Weslar. Thanks so much, people. That's why we do this for entertainment purposes. My friends, thank you so much. So appreciate you. Great role play. Really fun session. Looking forward to seeing where it's all gonna go next week. But first, please do tell these kind and fine people watching us who you are, where they can find you, and we will start once again with poor Mandy, who is going through a little bit of torture.
Emotional damage. Hi, everybody. I'm Mandy, or the Mandy, as you know me all over the internet. It's literally my name everywhere except for Twitter, because Twitter's evil. And yeah, this was me playing Candy the Technomancer, and I'm gonna say in every session, thank you for having me back. I love this game. This is so much fun, and I love this character, so I'm very happy to be here.
Awesome. Thanks so much for being here and for bringing Candy around for a little spot of fun. Always a great time. Next up, Kevin, who, got to see some freaky shit too.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Sorry for the tech difficulties I had there for a second. Who knows how these things happen, but I'm glad
maybe it's what's coming.
Oh boy. Tech Thulu for the win.
Those are that's the budget we have here. Special effects so good that we actually shut down Kevin's computer just so that we could really ram home the fact that there's some nasty coming in.
Yeah, I had to fight robed cultists off too at the same time. I didn't want to mention it, but since we're talking about it, you guys need to know the full effect. But anyway, I'm Kevin. I can be found online at the socials at KevRan Games. This was a blast returning to play Merlin, our burned doctor, Shadowrunner. And when I'm not here, you can find me over on La Nocturna, which is a Twitch stream that actually tomorrow we're playing a special Halloween episode where 4 characters that are basically loosely based on the Universal Monsters characters are going to go on a creepy werewolf hunt. So it's going to be really fun. It's a one-shot at 9 p.m. tomorrow. Come check it out, please. It's a good time for everybody.
Not a creepy werewolf hunt.
Oh, yeah.
My friend, thanks so much for making time to come and play with us.
Thank you.
Do check out La Nocturna. Kevin always puts on a lot of really fun stuff there. I've been in a couple games myself there. Always a good time. Super appreciate you, Kevin, being here.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
And next we have the San Antonio Drift coming in hot with the pheromones, all the good stuff. What's up, Ian?
Hey, everybody. God, awesome game. Thank you again, Blake, for putting this on for us. It's been a lot of fun thus far. Can't wait for next week or next game. My name is Ian. You can find me on all social media at you boy big. If you find me on Twitter, you'll see me as the San Antonio Drift. I made that change during break. And I played Slade the Elf Face, who apparently is also a big Elvis fan too. So that was fun to do as well. It's a lot of fun.
Cool, man. Anything to plug?
Just find me on my Twitter. I got a lot going on and I have to organize it all. That's the best place to see it.
No problem. Awesome. I would like to point out we've got coming up in the next couple of weeks here at Guild Superior a fundraiser. We are partnering up with our good friend Phoenix Iwaki to do a week. Actually, it's like 12 days, I think, of awesome games, tons of GMs, tons of games being played, raising money for Games for Love, which is a charity that raises money to buy games for kids who are in hospitals and who are sick and things like that. So it's a wonderful charity. We're going to have tons of games. Check out our socials to get all the details. I myself will be running a Dragonbane game and a Blade Runner game. We've got Walking Dead. We've got Heroes of Greyhawk. Tons of stuff over at Phoenix Iwaki. Also, check it out. Definitely worth it. Great cause. Good games. Should have a good time. I myself am running a kind of my Halloween game tomorrow on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/the Bleakseason. It's called Decadence. It's going to be for mature viewers. It's going to be pretty weird and wacky and grotesque. It has to do with the theater and with Edgar Allan Poe and all sorts of stuff. I had Darling Creepshow and Myriad Morning Enduro on that. So it's going to be tomorrow at 9 p.m. on my Twitch channel. So if you like theater of the grotesque, that's what we'll be doing tomorrow. Otherwise, we will be back here next Thursday for the third and final installment of Nexus Black Opera. And now you now know what Nexus Black Opera means, if you were wondering. So it'll be your Thursday shout out to my man Andy, producing, pushing the buttons, taking care of us in the background. Thanks to everyone who came in and hung out. We are going to rate a good friend of ours, Darling Creep Show. Please give
Love Creep.
Creep
I know she's the
some
best.
love, some good old fashioned Guild Superior love. Check out our fundraising efforts in the next few weeks, and come back and see us next Thursday. We appreciate each and every one of you. Take care of yourselves. Have a good night.
Not next Thursday, the Thursday after next.
Yeah.
The night.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Right.
Love you all.
2
Thank you
weeks.
so much.
Bye.
Bye.